Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Black Spring with Autumn, and you are joining us on the Sundown Battleground with our most distinguished guest, the Lockhart Perspective. Welcome, the Lockhart Perspective. How are you on this?
Hello. This is a Halloween night. This right here should have been Halloween.
Right. Why do we hold on to it? Why do we hold off so long on Halloween?
We should have just cut to the chase because this right here, this is gonna be a hot mess. I just hope people understand it. I just hope they understand it.
Well, I will say, I will give a shout out to everyone. Thank you so much for coming in, the loyal patrons, the subscribers, and the any followers on Periscope that are joining us for this. But we're going to keep this light and slightly open ended. But we may pivot around the battleground states because I think Pennsylvania, Florida, some of the Midwest is one of the center focuses at times, and then we might even look into maybe some of the congressional district races, and we'll see what comes up. But thank you
Yeah.
guys so much for coming in on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. And let's see, who else do we have? Shout out to Patrick Jane Forums and AZ Infidel. Thank you so much for coming in. Oh, Old Head Deuce is here.
Hey, old head. You told me to bring my popcorn, but I got some food, but it ain't no popcorn. It's something to chew. It ain't no
Yes, I hope everybody brought something that they can nosh on, whether it's
that they can keep down.
yes, this is true. So, we're not gonna be heavy handed. We're not gonna be too heavy handed with the predictions, but you might get a little notion of how we're leaning maybe by the end of it. What do you think, the
Oh,
Lockhart
I agree.
perspective?
I agree. I think you know what I think everybody pretty much got an idea of how this might end up. Especially New York, since they they boarding stuff up, boarding stuff up, got the popos wrapped all the way around the Trump Towers in New York. They had big what looked like dump trucks and police vehicles. Everything said NYPD on it. So I don't know what was going on with that. I tried to find out. I'm sure it's probably public now. But when they first put it up, I looked. Look, she said, look, he's old head dude said, look who's talking heavy handed. Hey, we gotta have one night where we can be just light.
Right. Well, I want to say this also is that we're going to open this up at some point, and we'll give you your allowance, your 2 minutes allowance to come on, and you're welcome to chime in on any of your own predictions, or even just maybe you can give us an idea of what's going on in your neck of the woods.
Mhm.
I don't know. How are the grocery stores in your area? The Lockhart perspective.
Well, well. You know, I think a lot of people right now are just sort of waiting around to see what had happened. That's really what I think is going to happen. I don't. In the grocery stores in our area, they're pretty much they're okay. Just to answer the question, they're all right. But the meat is looking sort of questionable. I don't know if everybody's noticed that recently, but the meat is very questionable. I don't pay attention
Wow.
to the meat that you're buying if you do eat meat, but pay attention because it looks sort of spooky at best. As soon as you get to cooking it, it
Oh.
start doing all kind of wacky things. So, honey, I don't know what they got going on, but
Oh my gosh, no.
some don't feel right. Flying the buttermilk.
Yeah, well, I hear you on that. I know I went to the grocery store before coming back, and the lines were pretty long. I mean, it was, wrap. Of course, you're doing social distancing around here, so it's wrapped. It's going back near the back of the store. You know, um,
hmm
it's almost like, are we preparing for a storm, or what's
hmm
going on? You
Yeah,
know,
that's what they're preparing for. If they didn't get what they needed before this, then yeah. I mean, okay. So let's have a little bit of a heavy conversation. Is that okay?
absolutely.
Okay. So let's look at what is at stake and let's look at what could happen. Um, the incumbent, obviously, the current seated president, has already had, we've pretty much gotten warmed up to who he is. And I think a lot of people right now have started the whole rumor of, oh, well, if he doesn't win, there'll be, crazy pandemonium in the streets, which truly and honestly is not right. It's not correct. Why? Because standardly, the people who quote unquote support him don't cut up like that. I mean, standardly, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they respond when it's things that are going against the, Constitution or things like that. They may, meet up with little pockets and have, little marches and stuff like that. But by and large, they ain't got no time to be burning stuff up because, well, the majority of them are small business owners, entrepreneurs. You know what I'm saying? Generally, the people who have voted for him have a little something to lose. Now, I'm not saying that that is, that they are the best people on the planet, because they're not. I mean, I'm not the best person on the planet, and I did vote for him in 2016. But I think my point is more, those folks are not the ones who are going to trip out. Now the deal is, if old boy don't win, the ones who be burning up and tearing up and looting and running around stealing stuff, those are going to be the people that they're going to be flipping out for. That's what's going to happen. Those people right there are going to be the ones that's going to be flipping out. And so I think maybe that's the reason why a lot of people who are conservative have gotten enough common sense to say, well, let me go ahead on to the store and pick me up some extra stuff. Oh, these people start acting crazy.
This is true, and I just want to echo another of your one of your points where you were saying, most people on the that are can I say conservative or right
Mm-hmm.
leaning, they're
Mm-hmm.
working. They don't really have time for, marching in the streets and dancing in the streets. They're they'll do what they need to do, but they're coming out when it counts, when it really counts. They're coming, they're gonna fight for the rule of law as much as they
Mm-hmm.
can. And,
Mm-hmm.
not so much in the streets. They're not gonna take what are they? They're not gonna take it to the
Mm-mm.
streets.
Mm-mm. No, 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 no,
But
no.
but
Mm-mm.
then I will tell you, I heard a prediction, what another one of the concerns is as to if this is not a clear decision, are you concerned about a clear decision not being available to us? And
Yes,
will it go to the streets and then,
yes.
above?
Yes. Here's what this is to me, and all actuality, because I think a lot of times we just keep the little questions on the table because we're trying to be cordial, we're trying to be respectful. But to old head Deuce's point, you know, Black Stream and I can be a little heavy. Okay, you see what I'm saying? We can be a little heavy, so I'm going to go ahead on out there and say it. I honestly think that the problem will be, if he is reelected, that people are going to be pretty hot and bothered. And or if they don't give us that immediate count, or let me just so many narratives, because this is so new to us, having all of these ballots sent out at once, right? We're
Yeah.
not used to having all of these massive ballots being sent out at once. So let's just answer your question. I think that if they do not get a count on this, and Nancy Pelosi follows through with one of her promises that she made a few weeks back, okay, that she was going to have him drug out of there. If that were to happen, that would be in its totality true life coming, to fruition. It would be an absolute coup, because even if he does not win, he still has to be there until the end of his term, which is not over until January 2021. So if for whatever reason he does not have enough numbers, or it does show that the numbers are so drastic that even to count the rest of the ballots possibly wouldn't make a difference, if they were to go through there and remove him the way that she's promised that she wanted to do, that's going to cause a problem. And I don't care who you are on that, because people already understand that the law is a law, and that will bring to fruition what we've all been thinking all along, that this is just an attempt at a coup. So yeah, I think it's going to be a problem. And I personally don't feel like waiting until, what is the latest date? What, the 13th of November?
Yeah. What is it? What are they allowed to go? 9 days?
There's two different states because of states' rights, and I'm not sure if it's North Carolina that's going to the 13th, or if it's Pennsylvania that's going to the 13th. Um, you know, Pennsylvania is the one that's sort of shaky right now.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Big
so I
time.
think I think it's either them that's going to go until the 5th. One is going to the 5th and one is going to the 13th. But no matter what it is, that's a long time to wait for numbers to come in as to where before we knew that night who we were going to have. Even in the Gore situation in Florida several years ago, there was still that little question about really whether or not he won. Anytime you have to wait and you're holding on to ballots to get an answer and you have to count stuff and you're leaving that to people, there's that margin of error. One other thing, don't forget that today in several key areas where there were where Republicans were known to vote, that their ballot or their voting machines went down in large droves. So you would see that the you would see that the powers that be. I'm reading some of your messages in your chat.
Yeah, I just saw this one. I'm I
I'm
just saw.
checking it out. Yeah, that's cool. All right, that's cool.
So I'll just.
Um, so anyway, it would just seem to me that yes, there's going to be some issues, and the issues are going to stem specifically around the amount of time that it takes to count those extra ballots, especially in light of the fact that as long as there are ballots out there that people have to count, you're going to have that margin of error. The second thing is what happened to the individuals who were in those Republican-run areas or those areas where there were hotbeds for conservatives, where their computers went down. People want to ask, how did that happen? Well, who owns the majority of all the voting machines? And I'll just leave that there.
Mm.
People can go ahead and do their research on their own and find out who company makes all of those voting machines. Yeah, that part.
There you go. There you go. Miss Lockhart, it looks like we have some correspondence
I
in the chat.
see. I see.
Hi,
Miss
K
Red.
Red
Yeah,
Lotus.
who is that? Do you know her?
I haven't seen her in a while. She said she hasn't been in a while. But I've seen she's been on before. She said she didn't even get a notification, I think is what I read earlier. So yes, but
I like that.
we can exchange emails.
Yeah.
I guess I can put Lockhart, you want to put yours in the stream or however you want to do it. We'll give you let's see. I'll just put mine
We're
here.
definitely going to have to put it in there before we're done so that we can reach out to her because I like people like that that are bold enough to say, "Hey, look here, we need to collab." And
Yes.
that's what the world is really about, especially in the YouTube world. Collaboration.
Yes, and yes. So yes, we will be getting back to you.
Definitely. I'm
Yeah.
gonna put mine in there. And you're right. That's who owns them. K Red Lotus, you're absolutely right. That's who owns them. And so that's why I'm saying, there's a lot of stuff. And then old head just got through saying, that's a lot of ballots, extra ballots. How many times have you seen that? I've seen it a lot of times. And that's the part that really bothers me. That's the piece that really bugs me. It's the fact that we can see stuff right in our faces and then people don't even pay attention to it. It's something to be said about extra ballots. It's something to be said
That's
about
true.
an American enemy having access and owning the majority of all of the machines that are made.
Well,
It's something to be said about that.
It's funny that you're mentioning machines because I had a story earlier today in which New York was reporting that there was somebody that posted that they actually had machines that were actually locked and maybe the other one was not functioning. So it's already it's oh my gosh, what kind of experience is this?
I don't know. I just know that it's demonic. I'm just, I've just gotten to the place now where I'm at the point where I'm just gonna call stuff what it is. And Kay Red Lotus just said she got kicked out of another live because of the opinions that she had was different than the people that she was in. Well, see, that's the problem right now. Telling the truth,
Right.
you become you're the person
The
with the
enemy.
scarlet letter. Yeah, you the scarlet letter. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? See, scarlet letter. You can't talk no more. Don't say nothing else. We don't want to hear the truth. We want to be mind effed. And you know what I mean by mind effed. I just no, please don't tell me the truth. Just mind f me, will you? Come on.
That's a good one for sure. But yes, it's I hear where you're coming from. I've witnessed somebody throwing people out like on a regular basis. If anybody says anything that's that's remotely, whether it's an insult or even a consider this, it's just he just starts swearing, and I'm like, my gosh, like, is that what you want to do? Is that where you want to go with this? I mean, your credibility, is
Is shot. Your
yeah.
credibility is shot.
So what we can do is we're going to zoom in a little bit, and of course, Lockhart, you are welcome to share anything that you would like to contribute to these numbers, because I think I'm juggling time zones here. We're already at the 8:30 mark,
Yeah, so we've
um,
got some stuff that should be closing
coming
up right
in.
now. Atlanta, Georgia. They've been messing with Georgia since I lived there. They brought that Ossoff cat in, and he was there to run for, I think, governor a few years ago. And everybody was like, "Who is this masked man?" Nobody, it's a trip when you try to do research on somebody, you can't find nothing about them except they graduated from this college and they went there. I'm like, yo, what cloning facility?
That's true. That's true. So if you don't mind, just right now, if we can just look in, like we're gonna do what we're gonna do our discussions, but we'll have the numbers, some things coming through, and we'll just kind of chime in, and then of course, as I said earlier, we'll give at some point we'll open it up and give you guys a couple of minutes to chime in, and yeah, that's what we'll do.
Well, it looks like I got a little information before we go over there. I'm going to look to confirm this. It looks like Florida is taken by Trump.
Okay. All right. That's one up. One up.
That's one up. And I feel like this. It doesn't matter who you like or who you don't like. The fact is, at least we know this cat. He been in there for the past few months, past few years. And if you don't like him, that's cool. I get it, no problem. Okay, so let's see the vote count for the candidates as of. Let's get the time here. It's 88% of the precincts reporting, and the Associated Press has not called this race. However, 29 electoral votes are up for grabs, but it would appear that as of the time of this posting, 7:32 Central Standard Time, 50.7% of the votes are in, and that would go to Trump, and then 48.5 has gone to Biden. Again, we have to remember there are still ballots that are out there that need to be counted, but at this point, the leader would be Trump at this very moment.
All right. Well, I thank you for that so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I do have the Lockhart Perspective joining me, and we might take it from a couple of sources. I know I have I think people are doing quite a bit of commentary as well. So we'll put it up for imagery, but we're going to be in and out of some different sources, because in these times, trusting what we're seeing is and verifying what we're seeing is just as important as going through the process of voting.
Mm-hmm. You ain't lying. You ain't lying. So everything I'm gonna say here going forward is gonna be allegedly, because we don't know. Even if I am bringing it from a source that has been vetted in the world of media, it's allegedly.
Yes, isn't that but you know what? I mean, have you heard about the fact checking and the culture of fact checking that we're dealing with in this? How much have you heard about, or how much is close to home to you? Is it via social media, or
You
even
know,
your internet service providers? Are they all the technocracy?
and that's exactly what we're headed to be. I mean, I know we do. We're all talking about a lot of socialism stuff and a lot of things that are going to be happening here pretty soon. But the truth about it is that it definitely is dealing specifically with the technocracy of it all. And if it wasn't, then why is it that we can point to so many different avenues of censorship that all have technology behind it? You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a technocracy. That's what we're coming down. It's not an aristocracy. It's not it's not run by any military people at this point. So we know we're not under that. We don't have a republic, a democratic republic. That's changed. What are these numbers? Oh my goodness, what have you got here?
This is C-SPAN, ladies and gentlemen. So, take it with a grain of salt wherever,
Allegedly.
where alleged. Okay, this is showing election results 2020. Yeah, of course, it shows the president here, but we can, if I tab over to the right, I'm showing Senate. We'll be looking at Senate races, the House, governors, and I guess initiatives. But I don't know. You guys can call it whenever you want. When you want to look in on the Senate, I think this could be our little nucleus. We bounce around between here and then
That's a
and of course
scary that graph is scary. I'm so sorry.
you don't
I
like this
just
graph.
I don't like that graph. And let me tell you, you guys already know how I feel about the whole system this year because too many things have happened. But I don't like that. I don't like that.
No.
I don't believe that. Honestly, I don't believe that. I believe there's a lot more people that are going to lean toward the president and they're not going to tell anybody.
Oh, I think you're right. I think you're right. And I think even in the pollings, even in their projections, I think that they have been that people have even maybe they do you think maybe they even fudged the numbers even on the polls?
Yes, I
They didn't tell the
do.
truth. They didn't tell the
No, these
truth.
people, and that's the problem that I have is the crookedness that's involved with all of this. That's the part that bothers me. I understand that in everything there could be a level of crookedness. I mean, even if you go to
Mhm.
a casino, you already know there's going to be some crookedness, but the day you win, it wasn't crooked, right? But with this particular situation, we do not need to see this cat in there. And here's how I see it. I see this cat as a paid off cat who just allowed them to use his face and his persona until after quote unquote he wins. And then he gonna take his little chump change and move on out to Florida or go someplace and expire. All right. After he expires, molts, changes, shades, or whatever it is that corpses do, the other chick gonna step right in and she gonna drag somebody else to be with her that is going to run the show. I truly and honestly feel like the fangs of the wicked one is involved in this because I don't believe all of the numbers. I can't. I feel like all the numbers got a problem. This right here, 85%. Yo, really?
That's a little bit, yeah. It's a little
Seriously?
thick. The
And you know what
hyperbolic.
else is thick? Lies, BS, okay? Bull feces is thick.
Yeah, you got it all covered. You got it all you got it all covered. But I'm gonna give a couple of shout outs in here. Shout out to DJ Vision Barnett. Shout out to K Red Lotus, and shout out to Patrick Jane Forums, um, AZ Infidel. Thank you so much. And Pammy Clyde, thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate you guys. And for those of you who are just coming in, we do have the Lockhart Perspective with us. Very insightful, fantastic content creators. One of the best, hands down. So she's joining us. And we're just looking at, we're having a casual kind of a open-ended, forum here or panel here, if you will. But we're also going to try to take a look at the swing states, Midwest, and yeah, and see what happens. Because I think this is what they say on one of the movies. I can't call it.
I can't call it. All I know is I'm gonna be locked in the house for about 6 months straight because if him and old girl win, girl, honey, they're gonna be chasing after a whole lot of us. Especially after the last upload I just did. Shoot, y'all better go watch it fast.
Whoa, 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 whoa! We got a race call. U.S. Arkansas. Rick Crawford is the winner. Now this little app is a little sneaky. Do you notice how that little green flag came in?
Yes, I see that.
Woo. So it's interesting enough. So would you guys mind if we look at the Senate just for a
I
second
don't
here?
mind.
Let's see. Which state would you like to go to? I think the ones that are when we go to
Like the
Arkansas.
Arizonas, yeah, the Arizona. Let's go to Arkansas, Arkansas. Let's go to
Oh,
Arkansas.
okay. All right. So they're rolling in. Are you guys familiar with was it Tom Cotton? It looks like well, I don't see the numbers here.
Mm. So how they gonna call it? You
I'm
feel
just
me?
you see what you see? They got a green check there already. So do you see how?
Oh, old head said Cali, but Cali is still not done. No, old head. It's like what 5:40 out there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
let's see.
It's not. It's see. It's grayed out. So I'm thinking that's indicating that they're not reporting just yet. But we're good. Don't not to worry. I am very old head. To your point, I'm very interested in the 43rd district with Maxine Waters versus Joe Collins. I'm very
I'm
interested
interested
in
in
that.
that too. I'm interested in that too.
And then over in Baltimore, Kim Klasick versus what's his name? Fum Kwesi? Kwesi? It's
Don't get me to
NAA,
lying.
former NAACP president or something. Yeah, there's
I
a
don't know.
couple of races that I'm really curious about, and yeah, but we'll come back. This is I'm not sure if I'm a fan of these
I'm not
chart
a fan
views.
because I don't like the numbers. Now, do I sound liberal? I don't like the numbers. You need to change the
All
number.
right, Lockhart. We'll always find
But I
something
mean, it
that
is what it
reinforces.
is. It is what it is. We're dealing with a bunch of cheaters. And so that's the reason why I'm like, I'm just not feeling any of it because I know there's a lot of cheating going on. There's a whole lot of cheating going on. A whole lot of cheating.
Yes, 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 yes. And see, and there's a lot of. I had a friend of mine who was actually turned away from two polling stations today
What?
from Alabama. Yeah,
What? They
yeah.
trying that?
He said, "Oh, they told me that I something was wrong with my information, and but what was wrong with it? You know what I mean? That's a
Hmm.
broad. What do you mean there was something wrong with your information? Did you, I mean, but and not to be insulting, I said, are you registered? You know, I don't know. I mean, it's like the subversion is still, there's many ways to suppress a vote. You know what I
Mm,
mean? It's
mm.
creative. People are just more creative with what they're doing right now.
Well, I got a
Um,
little something to read to you if you want to hear it.
please, please.
This just came out and I don't know. Okay, so it is from a very trusted source, the
Okay.
westernjournal.com. However, allegedly. You ready?
Easy, easy, easy.
Allegedly. The
Okay.
Trump campaign and Nevada Republican Party filed a lawsuit Tuesday, just hours before the polls are to close, calling them to remain open for an additional hour. The complaint filed at the Nevada's 8th Judicial District Court Tuesday afternoon cited a tweet from the Elections Division of the Nevada Secretary of State's office, noting that there were technical problems at several polling locations, preventing them from opening. Here's the tweet. Clark County voters, several polling locations in the county are experiencing technical problems and have not yet opened. If you are waiting in line, please be patient. The sites will open soon. Hashtag election day, hashtag Nevada votes. This court has the ability to mandate the registrar to keep the affected locations open until 8 p.m. to assure that every voter in their precinct has a full 12 hours to cast their vote, the complaint reads. Alternately, a writ of prohibition, baby, what? A writ of prohibition is necessary to stop the polls from closing at the affected locations until 8 p.m. to assure that every voter in the precinct, in every precinct, has the full 12 hours to cast their votes. Now, cast votes in that area for the polls, I should say, the polls in that area are normally open from 7 to 7, but they're asking for an additional hour. I guess that goes in line with what we were chatting about earlier with, those machines not working.
Yes, yes. Well, when I thought about, Nevada, I think that they're thinking that that's going to be a liberal leaning, that may even go to Biden. You can just kind of smell the debauchery.
Hmm. You can smell the bull feces, and it ain't smelling good.
No, no, not at all.
Hmm.
But I think I found another one. So you guys, we're we're doing our diligence around here to try to keep you informed, but not but we're allegedly going to call things as we see them. So
Mm-hmm.
this is a Baltimore Sun, so you can kind of see. I'll be checking in with this one periodically just to see what's happening. Because as you can see, the U.S. House District 7. This is Kimberly Klasick, and I cannot pronounce his name, and I'm sure I would be called a racist if I get it
Let
wrong.
me see. Let me see. That's Mfume.
Mfume.
Mfume. Mfume.
Mfume.
Is he
Okay,
Nigerian or something like that?
I'm not.
Mfume. Mm. Mfume.
Mm, Mfume. Mfume.
Mfume.
So yeah,
Mfume.
so that's a hot ticket because I think Klasick has gotten quite a bit of a buzz because she's going after the late. Let me get it together here. I know we've got two icons, if you will, seats that are up for grabs. We've got
You
John
mean two
Lewis.
old ancient people? The molted few?
We we have Angela Stanton King versus I think Nakima Williams going for the late John Lewis's seat in
Mm-hmm.
Georgia. But
Mm-hmm.
the former I can't I don't know why I can't
I
think
know
of.
who you're talking about. What's his face out there in Georgie? Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Mr. I think he used to be the Secretary of State at one point too, right? And then he got moved up or something like that. I think I know who you're talking about, but his seat is available. Yes, it is.
Yeah, 'cause-
I'm gonna go get a charger, or we'll be disconnected. Yeah, I'll be right back.
sure. Thanks so much. So I'll just do some shout outs in the meantime. Shout out to everybody that's in the stream. We are doing a little bit of an open-ended experiment here, so thank you for tuning in and joining us. And it's quite a bit. Well, I'm looking for that. Great question, AZ Infidel. I'm looking at that right now, and I'm just thinking, what's the call time on Baltimore right now? I'm not exactly sure when that's going to, but I don't see the updates for it just yet. I don't see numbers just yet. Um, I don't know. This is just it's just such a drizzle, a drizzle to get results. And due to the lack of veracity and the credibility that we have with mainstream, it's really difficult to call, to call things. And because, as we were looking at earlier, the C-SPAN numbers look a little bit wide, if you will. Shout out to everybody in the stream. Yeah, this was the Baltimore Sun. They're doing their own little poll here, is what you're looking at here. So what I could do is go to the U.S. House, and as you can see, we have your candidates. District 7 is where Klasick is running, if you can see here, but there's no reporting just yet. I know that some of the East Coast polls, they're all a little bit different in terms of time. So let me see if I have a time. Because originally we were going to be looking at the key states: Arizona, Florida, Georgia, Iowa, Maine, Michigan, Nebraska, Nevada, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Texas, and Wisconsin. We were going to be looking at those states, and quite a few of those battleground states, which I think there are about 6 of them. And I think most people are leaning towards Pennsylvania being the biggest, being the being the one that's really unpredictable. Shout out to you, Touchdown Sean. Thank you so much. And shout out to Gus the Broken 2. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Really appreciate you guys. So, and then yes, we will be looking in. We will be looking in on the 43rd district with Maxine Waters versus, or as Joe Collins calls her, Mansion Maxine. We're going to be looking
I call her Mad Max. Mad Max. Looking like
Mad.
James Brown. Who said she looked like James Brown that year?
I think it was,
Somebody said, "Oh, girl, looked like James Brown."
yeah, and she got stark raving mad. She was stark raving mad about that, but I don't know. She's changed quite a bit. I don't know where she is in terms of age, but she and Pelosi are like what, in
80
those.
to 90 years old. 80 to 90 years old. She looked like something out the Thunderdome. Hello, the Thunderdome.
Oh, Sean, touchdown Sean says, or which Hazel, Maxine?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. You gotta know. You gotta understand. Don't nobody want
Yeah.
her.
Yeah, well, you see, we're waiting on results to come in. So you guys, in the meantime, you'll just have to put up with us and our predictions
Kooky banter
and our
and our
banter.
kooky banter.
Yes,
Yes. Do you want to see the video I just put up so people can
absolutely,
understand? Okay, so
absolutely.
now watch. I hope it don't be all jacked up.
I'm gonna stop sharing mine, and
Girl, don't stop
you go.
sharing right now because you know how jacked up I be trying to get stuff to work. Okay, so let me see. Let me see. Hold up, hold up, hold up. Let me see. Can I get it?
Yeah,
Because
well, and I'll bring in some other things. Yeah, we'll keep you nourished with lots of filibusters.
yeah, because I'm like a little upset right now with the whole thing. And here's what I feel. I really feel like to me, I just feel like, you know what, God, why is it that we did not have any better choice? You know, why is it that we didn't have any good choices? You know what I'm saying? We didn't have any good choices. I really feel as if not only did we not have any good choices, we just had these, you know, okay, so you got the incumbent, right? And
We
the incumbent is there. He's going to be there. No biggie. We got it. But the people that they gave for people to have a choice, to me, was really sad. The people that they gave, I feel like the people who were bona fide that really should have been in the thing, as he says, in the thing, you know the thing, should have been people who weren't nearly incapacitated. And this to me is like a slap in America's face. I really am not happy with Black America, and here's why. I say that the reason why I am upset with them, with us, is because we don't do any research or any due diligence as a whole. There are the minority of us who do their research and who do look into different people, right? But
Yeah,
my issue is the fact that we have heard Biden say exactly what he thinks about us. We've seen what he does. To your point about Mad Max, we've seen what she thinks. That's what I get upset with. How this sister said she went into somebody else's chat and they chased her out. Well, she was sitting in there talking truth. But you see, people don't want to know truth. And then when you give it to them, oh, you a problem. Oh, you a troublemaker. Okay, you can stay day day. It's how I feel. Stay day day until they come in here telling you that you can't work but 6 hours out of a week, and we want you to take this paycheck. And by the way, take this candy bar and shove it up your arm. Okay, because we know what candy bars are on this station, on this
you do
channel.
amazing things with candy bars.
You can subdue them. You can prevent them from buying anything with a candy bar. You can prevent them from going anywhere if they haven't had that candy bar. So if they haven't had that candy bar, then yeah, until you see what's really up with the individuals that we're talking about. Again, I'm not advocating for any one particular candidate. I'm not. What I'm saying is whoever it is, have you really thunk it over? Have you? I don't think you thunk it over. Because if you had thunk it over, then you wouldn't have had me making this video. All right, here you go.
Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Subscribe button and the bell notification. Thank you. The following is not an endorsement for any candidate, but it is rather a question for my Black brothers and sisters. Why? Why is it that whenever you are challenged or asked why you are going to vote for Kamala Harris and Mr. Biden, the only thing you can say is because I don't like Trump? What an elementary and ignorant thing to say. You can't give me anything concrete that these people have done for your community. And yet, when I pull out a laundry list of crap that they've done to us, you seem to say, well, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I don't care what they did. I just want him out. Okay. All right.
You're the same people who put on your Instagram, free Pookie Nim, free Man, free my brother, free this person who's been put in jail. In the state of California, for example, you had cats that were rolling around with 3 strikes. They had 2 strikes they were holding on to and had a half an ounce of weed in their pocket and went to jail for life. But that's your boy. I can tell you about what Biden did. I can show you about the crime bill that assisted Man, Pookie Nim, and all your homeboys being incarcerated and thrown in jail up until right now. Even though their incarcerations were in the 90s, they're still in prison right now for half an ounce of something that's now legal in that exact same state. I look at the Black people of today as the sufferers of self-inflicted Stockholm syndrome. You refuse to read, you refuse to delve into any information that would let you be aware of what's going on around you. You don't want to know truth. No, I tell you what you do want. You would rather have somebody to blame for your current situation. If you look at inner city Los Angeles right now, I have a question. Why is Maxine Waters still roaming around? Because you need the man to blame. And even though she favors you and looks like you won't point the finger at her for all the things that are not done right in that area. You won't do it. You would rather reach way above, go out of states' rights, and start to dig and talk about a president. Notice I said a president because it isn't about the president at all. This is a message to you, my sister and my brother. I want to understand your train of thought. Why is it that you, in droves, pack in houses to listen to people that do not like you, who have told you up front time and time again that you and your children are considered super predators and they don't care about your family. They don't care about what prevented you from being successful. They don't care that if you do 1, 2, 3, you're out. You're gone. You're in prison. Why? So that he can protect his family, his wife, his children from being hit upside the head. Meanwhile, every form of gluttony and sin this man has done, and he's passed that talent on to his children. Undoubtedly, their children will pick up the gauntlet and run with it to challenge yours, your great-grands. So this is a question. I probably won't get an answer. I'll probably get a bevy of messages telling me why I'm wrong. Probably get a litany of invalid type messages that are made by people who are using their left foot on the keyboard as opposed to their fingertips. I am asking this question because I have listened repeatedly ad nauseum to people make these stupid, senseless, no data backed comments about why they're voting for this man. You know, I mentioned that he literally equated us to roaches. He literally equated us to roaches when he gave a speech and said, I know a little something about roaches, as if that had anything to do with his topic. It had nothing to do with it. And yet I can show this video to several people that look like me, and they still say, I don't care. They don't care. Now they're listening to him apologize for what he did in that crime bill. They're listening to this man give his apology, how he should have made it right. He realizes he did it wrong and he should have made it right. And yet the same cat had 8 years under a man who favored you to turn it around and get it right. And he didn't do it then. You know why he didn't do it then? Because what he did was at his core who he is. It is who he is. And so, if by virtue of your vote he gets in, then the socialism that you adopt over the next several years will be 110% on you. But then again, as I think about it, that's probably the way that you like it, because then you won't have anybody but the man to blame. That's what you like. You like to blame them for the current situation of your neighborhood, your current financial situation, your current lifestyle, your current everything. You like it. You like being the victim, because if you did not like being the victim, then you would do your due diligence and study these people out. Or at best, hold the jerks you've got in place right now accountable for the things that they've done. But I don't think you will. This is Felicia Lockhart, and this has been the Lockhart Perspective.
in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
I like the idea they keep in jail longer. I'm the guy that wrote the bill requiring federal judges to keep people in jail 100% of the time for which they're sentenced, and the notable exceptions only 85%. So I'm all for tougher enforcement.
That.
Thank you so much. This is from the Lockhart Perspective, ladies and gentlemen. Please get to know the Lockhart Perspective, and we are just more than thrilled to have her on this. What can I call it? On this viable evening.
This is a groundbreaking evening. It really truly is. It's actually quite concerning. It's very concerning because we see the numbers thus far and they are pretty creepy. But again, we do have a little while to go tonight before we get to the whole total of everything. But if the indication of what we are seeing right now, if that's any indication of what's going on, yeah, somebody better get to praying. Yeah, and that's what I said. Remember, I said I wasn't going to be a party to any of it because I felt like my responsibility is to simply pray.
Yes, and I understand your position. And what I would like to do, if we could just change trajectory just for a second. I just want to talk a little bit about this Keystone State of Pennsylvania. I had an article, we did it on the show a couple of days ago, but I think Gorsuch, we had a little bit of somebody to kind of side with, can I say the other side?
Mm-hmm.
Are you surprised? I want to go into that little article just really quickly.
Go
here.
ahead, do your magic.
just really quickly, in and out, nobody gets hurt. Okay, so here I'm sharing it with you guys on the screen now. We had Pennsylvania Republicans ask Supreme Court to reconsider ruling allowing the state to count ballots received after Election Day. So I think that's where the rubber meets the road in this situation, because this is, as the Lockhart Perspective said earlier, this is unprecedented. We're going all the way out until what date, maybe?
Yeah, and the latest that I heard, the latest date that I heard was the 13th of November. And a lot can happen in between now and the 13th of November. What's wrong? Gus broke into. What happened? You okay? Who's messing with him? Somebody messing with Gus broke into. He had to tell somebody if they didn't like the country. He said, "Get out." What had happened? I'm nosy. Who?
Wow. What's happening?
Mm-hmm. No.
Well, I appreciate the passion in the chat. It's nice to have passion. Thank you so much. And so I just want to do just a little bit on this. No one will get hurt. We'll make it painless. Okay. So on this, I did go over this earlier this week. However, the ticker here is that the Pennsylvania Republicans asked the Supreme Court to reconsider the ruling to let stand a ruling by Pennsylvania Supreme Court to require election officials to accept and count ballots received after Election Day. The initial request was deadlocked on October 19th by a 4-4 vote in the absence of the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Chief Justice John Roberts, ding, 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 hung the court by siding with the three liberals who allowed the ruling by Pennsylvania's High Court to stand. The four conservatives on the court, Justices Thomas, Alito, Gorsuch, and Kavanaugh, indicated they would have supported the Republicans. Under the present rule, ballots that are clearly postmarked after Election Day would not be counted, but it would allow ballots with no postmark or, quote, unclear, end quote, postmarks to be counted, thus opening the door to massive voter fraud. Okay, so go ahead.
I mean, this whole entire sea that we're swimming around in right now is highly unprecedented. And I really cannot see why the whole pot is twirling around like it is. Here's the deal. We have what's called states' rights. And we do understand that states' rights should not, in most cases, cannot supersede federal law. So if that's the case, the only way that I could even justify any of them wanting to go so far outside of the time frame, I feel like that stuff should have been challenged a long time before this recent challenge. Do you see what I'm saying? Um,
Yes.
I feel that with the type of attorneys and lawyers that are at the disposal of the White House, that we should have had this capped a long time ago.
I concur.
And so for us now to hear about, how they really wanted, them to stop it, and they want to cut off the date and all that other stuff. Frankly, I think here's the issue, and I'm gonna be very candid. The issue is that all of this stuff was allowed to go on for too long. All of the millions of ballots and all of this other stuff that was going on, that stuff should have been challenged a long time ago. If you don't have any precedent for taking care of a situation under a pandemic, then don't start making the rules now, especially in considering the fact that they've been trying to get this man ever since he put his hand on the Bible to swear in. They were getting him before he got in, if you remember some of the comments that were coming from the opposing side. So to me, I think you need to be a little more wiser. You got to have some wisdom and realize that even though you understand that there is the rule of law and you understand there's a constitution, you got to be a couple of steps ahead of these cats. And if you got people working for you that are attorneys that are not, you need to fire the lot of them and get a new bunch. But it's a little late for that right now.
Absolutely. That's the frustration. Everybody wants to now they want to do quote their jobs. Everybody wants to be an actual now you want to make policy all of a sudden. Everybody wants to make policies in the middle of all of this. So I'm just see this is what I'm saying. We've got this new justice. I think Pelosi's already going on record calling her illegitimate. I just think that we're going to be I just don't see a clear path to.
She called the woman the new lady they just voted in.
Yes.
And so what is she with her bourbon shaking? All that head shaking like she's been on bourbon for the last 8 months straight. Are you kidding me? Oh, wow. Wow. They just stop at nothing. This country is getting, and I see what the gentleman in the chat is saying, about if you don't like your country, get out of it. We get all that you're saying, sir. But we live here and we experience what's going on. You know what I'm saying? We experience Gus the Broken too. We experience this on a different level from the outside. Even when I lived in Europe and I, 4 or 5 years staying in a different country, and I look back at our country, I love it so much. And see, that's what makes us upset, Gus, is that we see a wonderful nation. We see a place that we could be able to exist and have no problems. The issues that other people see in their countries that they don't like, the reasons why they come to our country is exactly what's taking place here right now. You see, it's not just that we're upset. We're upset at the fact that the people who have infiltrated our country have been working in other places to destroy other economies, to destroy other states and countries all around the world. You see what I'm saying? And so that's the issue. It's not the fact that we don't like it. It's the fact that we do like it. We love it. We just don't want no BS. I believe that if people who come into our country to try to infiltrate it, which is what has happened over the last several years, several years, they've come in. And because we've got this thing where we just follow the law, we don't call a spade. And then we end up 6 years after they've started doing and weaving their wicked, webs. Then we say, oh my God, what's going on? They're trying to turn it like X, Y, or Z. Well, it's too late for that now. Okay, because by the time these people have gotten in, they've already brought in some more people with them. Anytime you do research on somebody who's running for something and you can't find nothing besides history that looks like it was manufactured and too good to be true, there's a problem with that person. You see what I'm saying? And so it's not that we don't want to be in our country. It's the fact that we don't want our country looking like other countries that have people fleeing their countries to come here and live, because the freedom at this point is wearing very thin. Anytime we have a constitution that says, with amendments that say we have the freedom of speech and we can't even say certain words without fear of being banned. You understand what I'm saying? Well, we can't say we don't feel like wearing something on our person, our physical bodies. It's our body. Just like people stand up and say, well, a woman has a right to choose, but she got a right to choose whether or not she's not going to use contraception. And then she got a right to choose to snatch a living body, a human being, out of her body. But that same woman don't got a choice to say she don't want to rock no mask. This is a crazy topsy-turvy place. Okay? I don't agree with the aforementioned right. I believe that your right to choose begins and ends with your contraception. Choose what you're going to use, and then you do your do. You don't wait till you on the table and you pushing a human out. And now our laws here in this country say that only a few minutes before that baby gets out, you can decide that you don't want it. And then we'll just expire it for you. But it's that same place that makes those types of laws. So I feel like, hey, you know what? I love where I am. And just to correct you and help you understand what I'm trying to say, I get it. I get it. If we don't like it, we don't need to be here. But it's because we like it and we understand what we founded on that we got the right to say something when it ain't right. I will move my soapbox now. Thank you for your moments.
Well, thank
Soapbox
you
move.
so much. Thank you so much, the Lockhart Perspective. Thank you so much for coming on, and I appreciate you. I appreciate your eloquence and your gifts, your sparkling eloquence in these times, because I think that I think many people are. We've been turned off by we're getting turned off by this process. It's just it's a lot. It's a lot
Mm-hmm.
that we're going through. We're seeing things that I've said on my channel before that they're ahistorical to this nation. Other nations that are much older, much more mature, they've seen
Mm-hmm.
these types of things before. They've survived these things in some level, but
Mm-hmm.
in this case, I think many people don't believe this could happen. That what happened, let's go to Nazi Germany in the 1930s. I don't think they believe
Mm-hmm.
that could happen here. I mean, what do you think? Uh, the Lockhart Perspective. Do you think that people they just want to hide their heads in the sand, or you think they're head up, eyes down all the time because they can't handle the truth? What do you think? Where do you think this
I
is coming from? These
I think it's arrogance. I think it's arrogance. And let me qualify that. I believe that it's arrogance because we think it couldn't happen to us. You see what I'm saying? Case in point, I said the other week that when I went to Europe to live, I looked like a pack rat. I had one whole suitcase shoving all kind of hair care products and things in there because I just knew they weren't going to have X, Y, or Z in Germany. And because of my arrogance, I overpacked a suitcase and took all these products that I had been using for years. And I get there and I see not only my products, but products that were better. You feel me? It was like my arrogance led me to believe that I was going to take something better to this country than what I believe they had. Another thing I thought was, well, I just know that all the ladies over there are big and huge because I've seen them in the movies. They're all big, Frau Bear or Frau this one. They're all big. And then I got there and I realized, no, America is the only country that has the fatness issue because we're the only ones at that particular juncture. I'm sure it's changed now, but my ego and my arrogance being an American made me think that all the women in Germany, for example, were going to be big and thick because of the TV shows that I had seen and my ignorance of not knowing. But I learned when I got there that because they eat Mittagessen and that middle meal is the one that is their larger meal, and they eat a small meal for supper several hours before they go to sleep, they maintain a healthy weight at that time. Again, I don't know what it looks like now, but my arrogance told me that. So I think arrogance and ego is the reason why a lot of this snuck up on us because these things were happening and people like possibly you, I know from myself, and my husband, we were screaming from the rafters way back in, the 90s, the early 90s, when we had come back from Europe and we went back to California to live. We were screaming like, hey, wait a minute. What do you mean you're going to vote in California? Huntington Park had a law where they were trying to get the guy, I think it was their mayor. He was trying to get the mayor was trying to get them to allow illegals to get a driver's license. Now, mind you, this was back in 96, 97. He was trying to get them to allow the illegals to get a driver's license. And at that time, I was like, oh my God, no, that can never happen. People are like, well, what's wrong with it? They're going to be driving out here and they're always getting in accidents with us. I said, look at the political implications of that. I said, if we give them driver's license, what happens when you get a license? Don't they always ask you if you want to register to vote? They were like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, duh. And people literally laughed at me. And now what do we have all throughout California and all throughout several other states? You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And people that are not legal have what?
They have they're registered to vote and they have driver's license.
Thank you. And they're not even citizens. And here's the deal. I don't mind you coming over here for a better dream. Please understand, please believe me. I get it. My only problem is that when you come here, at least abide by the laws. Because like I say about Pookie and Man now, if they break a law, there is no sanctuary city or even a house that's sanctuary. Pookie and Man them, they've been and got their auntie's house kicked in, trying to hide, talking about I committed a crime, but I'm gonna hide.
That's true. What do you get? They break the law, they get this, and then it's 3 strikes. 3 strikes for you call the guy Man.
Yeah, Man and Pookie Nim. If Man, Pookie Nim, and Nim get in trouble, then they are going straight to jail. They are not going to collect $200. They're not going to collect $200. They're not going to get to go past go. They're going straight to jail. And yet I see the very same people standing up for individuals saying, well, they come here because they want to have a better way of life. I agree with that. They want to have a better way of life. However, every country you go to has a set of rules and laws. For example, I say this all the time. You cannot go to Canada if you have even had one phone call to the police department about you and your spouse or your loved one having any domestic violence in your file. You cannot enter. You cannot go into Canada. They will not allow you to come in. If you have anything like that on you, if you've had a DUI, you're not going into Canada. That's that country's laws. And trust me, if you try to get in there and they turn your rump around, they turn you around and send you back home, then you're going to understand to respect their laws. I believe that everybody wants to be here because it really is a great place. Unfortunately, I've said over and over again that California is really being used as a test dummy, as an example, to turn the United States into a third world country. Whatever goes there, you can try it there, and then you can just pass it out to the rest of the states. And so right now, I think the sad part is that our country, it has been under siege. And I think that whomever it is that's behind it has really, in a very talented way, figured out whatever worked in Venezuela, whatever worked in Greece, whatever worked in all those places that they have destroyed single-handedly has worked here, because the divisiveness that we have just among ourselves and people who make a good argument, we can't even listen to people make their argument without shutting them down. And that's a scary thing. That's a scary thing.
Yes, it is very much. It looks like we have a message from K Red Lotus. Let's see. She said, am I going to be on for a bit longer so I can send people your way? Well, let's see. Well, when you say a bit longer, it could be maybe half an hour longer, something like that. We are, like I said, we're talking around, we're talking around this whole election. I almost want to call it this experiment right now, because I'm going to tell you the truth, and the truth is not the enemy on this channel. I'm going to show, we're starting to get results are starting to come in, but I do believe that these results are going to drizzle in, and it's going to be up to, of course, everybody. How much can you take? I mean, you had to take this in small
Mm.
dosages. So the
Oh.
results are coming in this is via Baltimore Sun. They're
Oh.
updating every few minutes. Let's see. So, we'll flash a few numbers here or there, but we just don't have a whole lot. We don't have a whole lot that's coming in, but I do see the numbers for U.S. President Maryland. And if you can see the numbers here, hopefully you guys can see that.
What do they say? Because it's really,
It's
I wear the bifocals. I wear the bifocals.
okay, because it's showing 59,146 votes right now for the current incumbent, Donald J. Trump, and then it's got Joe Biden,
Oh God.
the 41,576 votes
Oh.
right now. So we're gonna just keep. I said we just keep our eye on all of this. It's a lot. This is more of a. I think this is more of a conversation, and we're side eyeing whatever we see here, and we'll do our best to get accurate. We'll do our best, but it's tricky. It's very tricky. And I think we're doing what most the mainstream media people are doing. We're just watching it, and so we'll be around for a little bit. But I don't know, Lockhart Perspective. What do you think about opening up for a few minutes to see?
Yeah, let's do that. While you do that, I'm gonna go ahead and show Fox News right quick, just so we can see what they've got to say. They've got something going on over there, and so
All right.
we can show it one ringy dingy, two ringy dingies. We can
Okay.
see what they got going on.
So whenever you're
Oh,
ready,
all right. And is old head still here? Old
he's
head knows I love him.
he's here.
Look at that.
I'm gonna mute myself for a second.
Yeah, because this doesn't
Ay.
have any sound. I know. All they've got right now is, so the NH means what? You know me. NH.
New
They're not
Hampshire?
counted yet? New Hampshire. What is that? But they're all New Hampshire?
No. The
Oh.
NH.
What does the yellow mean?
I'm not sure. See, I don't know. I would think they would have a key or something here to go by.
Yeah. Yeah. Where's their key? Where's their key? You can't have a whole bunch of people that went to school, or at least one, not even a semester in college, but in high school without a key. We don't know. We know what a key is.
Yeah, but I'm
Where's the key?
wondering. I'm wondering what this whole list over here is. It looks very specific states. I'm not sure what the key is at all. I'm at a loss.
I am too. It's not the elect. No, it's not the electorate. So what is this? Meaning that, are they not in yet? Texas is not in yet?
I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, the yellow. Yeah, you see the graphs.
Yeah, I see their key, but I don't see what they're trying to say. Tucker Carlson just said Florida is the future of the country.
I'm gonna look at one other place. You keep going, and I'm gonna look.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and keep fumbling around in the dark over here. Is that what it is? Blitz? You think, old head? Oh man, I don't know, but I just, my prayer is really that this person has been in there for the past several years. It makes good sense to just let that person finish out what they've started. But of course, as we know, that's not the case, because they've been trying to do whatever they can since he got in there. Now, I don't know, you guys. It just looks to me, wait a minute, what is this? They're doing something different. The balance of power. Oh, wait a minute. Is this my goofy self? I think it's my goofy self. I think so. Because they just did something special. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, there we go. What is this? What is that? That's earlier on. You guys know not to leave me in the hands of anything electric, anything technical. How many times have I done a live on my channel with no sound? And I was completely passionate. You guys already know. I don't be knowing what I'm doing sometimes, but in any case, I digress. I'm just trying to let it be, let us get a little bit of entertainment here with this, because to me, it's really starting to make my head hurt. I just,
It is a
I'm
lot.
strong. I'm very concerned because I know what's on the line. Let's see. Gus the Broken says the Bilderberg Group has been a slight pesky system, and now it's up to you to change it. Well.
Well, I have, let's see, I may have another, I think maybe we might be able to take something from Newsmax. I think they might have, something live going on here with not, of course, not without commercials.
So what's up with this? What's up with this?
Hang on.
You see that?
I don't know. Was it D+1?
The net
I'm not
gains.
sure.
The Republicans, 62 Republicans needed 17. The Democrats, 43 plus 1. Republicans for the Senate is, looks like 51 was the majority. It just passed. House, 0. Democrats, 39 for the balance of power for the House. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Balance of power for the Republicans, 62. Boy, I'm so glad I trust the Most High Yah. I'm so glad I trust God, because I tell you what, if my trust was in this system and in these people, I would be so upset. I'm concerned only because it's like you don't feel like putting on your boxing gloves to have to defend yourself, but you can see. If you really do have eyes to see, you will know exactly what this is that's going on. If you guys can truly and honestly see what this is in the spirit realm, okay? And for those of us who not in the spirit, I get it. Hold on, just sit to the side for a second. We'll get you caught up. Okay, but biblically speaking and spiritually speaking, man, if you are a part of this system, then you need to be very concerned. And if you don't want to be a part of the system, then I suggest that you seek him, because he is a rewarder of them who believes that he is and are diligently seeking him. He is a rewarder of them. So if you're not in the Most High Yah's hands, if you're not in the Most High's hands, you need to hurry up and get caught up and get over there, because this right here, this is not going to be good. This is not going to be good. We really do not need, and see, here's the situation, you guys. These are not the Democrats of old. These are people who've infiltrated that party from the outside and have taken over and are cheating very well. They have greased the palms of people to cheat. And what about the rhinos you were talking about earlier?
The rhinos. Well, I'm telling you, they just keep popping up. I think I suspect some of the rhinos. When I think of rhinos, I think they're the closest people to the president, even as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody, there seems to be a little bit of consensus out there that, since Trump was the new sheriff in town, they're straightening up and they're flying right now. I don't think so. I don't. He had a lot of huge cheerleaders during that whole impeachment process, but then some of those same cheerleaders, they'll stab him somewhere else. You know what I mean? And they have. They wanted to. I think you remember the whole Soleimani. The strike against Soleimani. I think a lot of people revealed themselves then, and they even voted with that no teeth resolution to limit. They want to limit his powers.
Well, speaking of cheating, I've got another little story that came out a little earlier today, and this is the problem where we were talking about cheating. There were multiple dead people caught voting, election records reportedly show. The dead voter phenomenon is already rearing its ugly head, ugly head in the 2020 presidential election. According to a Monday report from the New York Post, at least 2 ballots, 2, which means there were a whole bunch more, had been mailed to the New York City Board of Elections by citizens deceased before their vote was cast. Records apparently reviewed by the outlet indicate that Democrats Francis Rickhow of Staten Island and Gertrude Nazier of Brooklyn are both undersigned to dubious ballots. They had to let their feelings be known. And that's my problem. So the former was mailed as an absentee ballot on September 24th, according to the BOE, whose tracking records show that official receptions and validation of the ballot occurred on October the 8th, just 2 days after the resident in question supposedly mailed it back. Rickhow, who was born in 1915, however, was declared dead by way of the Staten Island Advance obituary published 8 years ago in 2012. An unrelated Nazir was also born in the 1910s and had been declared through, though the Post did not say when. Probably too embarrassed. She probably died in 1972, being born in 1910. They didn't want to say when she died. But apparently, the ballot was validated on October the 25th and had been mailed out on October the 9th and was received by the Elections Board on the 13th. It has since been invalidated as a result of life status discrepancies. A tahini. The discrepancy is she ain't here no more. She ain't here no more. Oh, I can't hear you. Can you hear me? You can't hear me?
I can hear you. I was muted.
Oh, you doing the Felicia.
Yeah, well, and I think that's going to be a lot of these ballots that I think that have come up. They're going to be, the same, people speaking from beyond the grave. It's just really, it's really sad. It's really sad. But yeah, I think they found a lot of crazy animals voting and. Do you mind if I share something really quick? I'm going to share something.
I don't care. This your show, girl. Do your magic.
Let me just a second here. So hold on just 1 second. I'm double fisting things. I've done.
Go ahead, girl.
So this is going to be from Newsmax. So let me we're just a tiny bit in here.
You can join.
Yeah.
You don't want to stand in too long.
So you can see some
Jim
numbers
here with us. A fantastic pollster. I've been dying to talk to you for about 30 minutes. I'm glad you're back on the desk. A lot of it has changed since the last time you were sitting out here about an hour ago.
No
What
question.
do you think?
What happened to the Biden landslide? By the way, this is exactly what we were saying all along. We knew on the Trump campaign this race was going to be close. It wasn't like, I don't know what it is. I don't know which is worse, the media polls or these college polls that are totally off the map.
Right.
And just what Sean and Mark were just saying, I was talking to my contacts down in Texas. They feel really good about where we are right now. And you know what? I always tell everybody, follow the money, follow the candidates. Yeah. There wasn't a lot of candidate activity or a lot of money in Texas. Donald Trump's going to win Texas.
He's going to win Texas.
Can I tell you this? Look,
go ahead.
Look, because she didn't go to Wisconsin, she paid. The opposite may be true here. These guys spent time in Texas and Georgia. Yeah. If they don't pull it out in either way, they
barely spent time in Texas.
Okay, but they talked it up a lot, and I think that diverted a lot of attention, which was a mistake, because what happens is I think that their own base thought, hey, we got a chance here. It makes them look bad going forward.
So the message of this is basically, if you're looking at those numbers you see in Texas, just keep in mind that the bluest of Texas is already in, and the reddest is still pouring in as we speak, and these numbers are going to change. Any projection?
Good point.
What are we hearing about North Carolina and Georgia?
Yeah.
What I'm hearing about Georgia, the Trump campaign feels very, very confident. North Carolina, cautiously optimistic in both those states. And I was talking to Tom Fetzer earlier tonight, who's the former mayor of Raleigh. He feels that, again, what we're seeing is a lot of this early vote that's coming in, just like what we saw in Florida. People are saying, oh my gosh, Joe Biden's up by a couple points. It looks like, Donald Trump is going to win Florida by over 300,000 votes. By Florida standards, that's a landslide.
In talking to your colleagues in the Trump campaign, are there any irregularities in either Georgia or North Carolina that if there's a tie or a projection for Joe Biden where they feel they could make an appeal through the courts?
I haven't heard anything yet, but I know, to their credit, and Sean knows this, the folks at the RNC, they've got a lot of lawyers on the ground because they knew this race was going to be close. I've been hearing from some of my lawyer friends. I usually don't talk to the lawyers, and they've been asking me stuff all night because they're already on the ground in most of these states.
Yeah.
And look, I think both parties have lawyers on the ground.
And have you heard anything about Pennsylvania yet?
Pennsylvania, everybody's saying the turnout was right for where we need it to be. Pennsylvania is going to be close. Remember, it was 10,000 votes last time. And look, I think, forget what the Trump campaign did in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Where was Joe Biden today? He was in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Because
I went
they
to
were
Scranton today.
I'm sorry.
Went to Scranton today.
Yep.
his old
Went to
house.
Scranton, and he also went to Philly.
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons why he went to Philly was because he's not getting the numbers in Philadelphia that he needs to get.
Well, that's where
That's it.
that
Yeah.
black vote's going to be important. If he couldn't bring it
and
home,
how they turn out.
if that's going to be big. And if
Right.
he doesn't have the same enthusiasm that Obama had, that's going to be a problem.
Look-
Okay, we got hey, 1 second, because we got to go to Emma, or else the producers are going to kill me. Emma Reckenberg is looking at what's on social media. Emma, go ahead.
All right. Sounds good, Rob. Let's talk about the state of Florida here. A major victory for President Trump, and social media is ecstatic. Florida Governor Rick Scott, the senator, former governor, is tweeting this out saying, breaking news, Donald Trump has won the state of Florida. We worked hard to deliver this state for President Trump, and our votes showed up. All right, let's show you this one here. Eric Trump, keeping it pretty simple, just saying yes, yes, yes. He was also sure to encourage voters in the state of Nevada, saying this: Nevada, get out and vote. We can take this. Of course, encouraging those voters to stay in line. Now, of course, the race to the White House is tightening up. We're going to keep you updated as the night progresses, all on social media. A lot to get to. Rob, I'll send it back to you.
Absolutely.
Look,
Emma.
I'm going to continue to get good numbers out of Virginia, by the way. This is, we are now thinking there's a couple seats that are flipping back Republican.
Yeah.
This is going to be this has the potential to really be a good night, not just for the president, but I think down ballot as well. You're seeing this, it's really interesting. These places that the media said were going to be a big problem.
Sure.
A lot of folks that we've had on our show at Spicer and Company that have been on Newsmax have been talking about looking at things that have been overlooked by the mainstream media, and they were right.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We do have to take a break as we go over all this stuff.
What had happened? I can't hear
Sorry
you.
about
Am I
that.
still-
I'm sorry, it's me. They're taking a break right now. I thought maybe we'd take a break just to see what you thought about what your thoughts on on those positions.
I appreciate their vigor
Are you
and their.
Are you
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm here.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate their vigor.
Yes. Yes.
And I liked Spicer even when he was with the president. I liked him. But I appreciate their vigor. I appreciate their honesty as best that they can get it. I think a lot of times when we try to watch other channels, sometimes, you still get that bend. That happened in 2016 where they were trying to, on certain channels, make you feel as if he was going to lose and that she had the handle on him. And then when you go to another channel, you find, no, that's not what's going on. That type of thing. So,
Right. Yeah, well, that's interesting that the buzz with the technocrats in terms of social media tweeting out any results. So, how are they gauging? How are they gauging who they're going to censor in this situation? Like Twitter. Yeah, they're not censoring. I'm surprised they let that out. I thought they were going to be banning everything or keeping the lid on results or calling
well, they're only going to keep that out if you're a conservative. And again, remember, you guys, conservative doesn't necessarily mean Republican. It just means conservative. And if you are a conservative, then yes, you will be shadow banned, blocked, and you will be thrown to the wolves. But if you, believe in a whole lot of other stuff that's like anti-human, you're in the house. I mean, you got a friend forever. friends forever. You got friends. You got friends forever. You know what I mean? If you can sound like a lunatic, cuckoo, crazy. Oh, I have friends who are. I have friends who are the old Democrats, but they don't understand that the party left them. you know, what I mean? I got friends who are sweet people, who are good people, but they just don't understand that the party left. They still dancing with their bell bottoms on, and they stack shoes, and they don't realize the moon unit has come and left. That, you know what I'm saying? They're already up to Mars. They're completely to the other side. They're not who you remember. And so I think that's the problem that we have had. There hadn't been enough truthful education. And I always say I blame I blame a lot of us for not being able to just eloquently, drag our friends along with us or our family members along with us, because, at one time or another, we did not think we should tell people, hey, don't you notice something weird about that? And, nobody was getting with us. You know what I'm saying? They were like, no,
No.
everything is fine. Everything is okay. No, I've been born one. I've been born my mama now was Democrat, and I'm gonna be a Democrat. And you sort of looking like a monkey doing a math problem. You're like, no matter what this person doing, you're gonna be, yep, that's how I am. And they be proud and stupid with it. They be proud and stupid with it. They be proud and loud. Yeah, I'm gonna be there forever.
Looks like we've got an update here. I'm gonna bring back the sound here.
To the president at this point, 44 to Joe Biden. Also, we've got a very close race in North Carolina as well.
Wow.
As we take a look, 50 to 49. If that's showing 96% in. I'm not entirely certain that's accurate, but let's just take a look at that number. It's going to be close to North Carolina no matter what. That's the point. That's the moral of the story. One of the biggest stories, though, to come out of this election, as we turn back to a little news here, is the Hunter Biden scandal. Voters rocked by the news, had everyone already
he looks dirty.
By that point? There's another question. Did you get to hear the story before you voted? Or did
Can I change my vote?
Push the story away and impact the election. Talking about the impact of the allegations here is former Assistant to President Trump, Bill McGinley, and former Lieutenant Governor of New York, Betsy McCoy. Good to see you guys. Betsy, I want to start with you. The fact that the story got more and more legitimate by the day and was hidden from the media. It's unbelievable to see.
It wasn't hidden from the media.
Joe Biden.
It's not hidden from
we had the information over 2 weeks ago.
By the media and by the social media platforms. So it's very unfortunate, because when you look at the exit polls, you'll see that Joe Biden's big advantage is being regarded as trustworthy, when in fact his actual record is that he used his office as vice president, turned it into an ATM machine for his family. But it's too late in the election to talk about that. I frankly think the biggest story tonight, and it will have lasting impact, is that Donald Trump has transformed the Republican Party into the party of working people, including Latinos, and they are really breaking for him. And this is a huge and lasting accomplishment.
It is something else. Bill, I want to get your thoughts on the Hunter Biden scandal. It was a critical couple weeks where the media basically resisted even touching or talking about it. And this is the same media that would take anything they could get on Donald Trump and blow it up through the roof to get it in front of everybody. What did you make of that?
Basically, what it's done is it's exposed the national double standard that the media applies between Republicans and Democrats. Republicans would get an FEC complaint, or they would get some sort of investigation just because the FEC would ask a question about their campaign finance reports. But in order for the Democrats to get one, you actually had to find 90 grand in cold hard cash in their freezer. This seems to have broken that wide open so that everybody understands the double standard now. You have documents, you have testimony, firsthand testimony about some of the things that have happened in connection with this scandal that deserve an investigation. Look, this is something that goes to foreign powers, money making its way into the system. And this is something that deserves a robust investigation to get to the bottom of it. The media completely fell down on this.
Sure. Betsy, I just want to ask you, I mean, we're in the middle of this night, and this election looks so close. And basically, the Democratic National Committee has essentially colluded.
Don't say that
with the
word
media
too
and
loud.
with big tech to push Joe Biden over the edge here. And here we are still talking about this razor-thin margin between these candidates and this very tight race. How incredible would it be if the president actually pulls it off?
If the president is reelected, and I expect that he will be, and we hold on to the Senate, it's time to hold the social media platforms' feet to the fire, not just in terms of their liability protection.
Yeah.
We've got to treat these social media platforms like public utilities, because that is what they are. And they owe to all Americans that we be treated the same, that our information be respected, that anybody can post absolutely anything, no censorship at all.
Betsy and Bill, thank you so much. Good to see you back out here with the panel now. We're going to talk a little bit about the state of Michigan, which, if you had asked any pollster 24 hours ago, was an impossibility. And we're looking at some of the numbers beginning to come in, and we're seeing some interesting numbers coming in here. I know you guys have been looking at it as we were in the break.
Oh,
Sean,
wow.
What are you seeing?
Well, look, the president's up right now. We got about 20-something% in.
Right.
But again, this goes back to kind of the conversation we're having about Texas. It matters what's in. And so we got to get a little bit north of 50-60% before we start having a significant conversation. That being said, I'd rather be ahead than behind.
Here's one right here. Oakland County, Michigan. Oakland County is a suburb of Detroit. It is a place that Hillary won by 8 points back in 2016. In Oakland County, the president currently holds a 12% lead with 40% of precincts reporting.
I'll give you a number from an exit poll that the New York Times is quoting, an election poll, not just exit. Okay. So 40% of the people who voted in Michigan said that they're better off financially than they were 4 years ago. Okay. Of those 40%, 81% voted for the president.
That Gallup poll recently just showed that too. You had 60% of the people saying they're better off. Generally speaking, at the end of the day, people vote their pocketbook. One of the things that people forget about the economy is everyone talks about the economy is a personal thing. It's not a number. So you can tell someone a statistic, but do they feel better? Do they feel that their job is safe? Do they feel like they're bringing home more money? Do they feel like their family is better off? And I think you're seeing this over and over again in these exit polls where people saying I'm better off. If you're better off, you're not switching horses.
We're going to send you guys to the board here real quick. While I send you there, I'm going to give you one more county. I know. Well,
there you go.
Get a chance to hit the gym today. We're going to help you out. You guys go ahead. I'm going to bring up Kent County while you guys take a walk. Kent County, Michigan, is where Grand Rapids is. I used to go there on ski trips with the family. This is a county that in 2016, the president won by 3 points. Kent County. In this, so far tonight, 43% reporting the president is up by 16 points. That's overperforming. That's a big county. Grand Rapids is a decent-sized city.
How many total votes did he get in Michigan 4 years
I can't
ago?
wait to see Wisconsin.
No clue.
No clue.
I'm going to look that up while Sean talks about Michigan.
But again, you're looking at these areas right now. You still have a lot.
I'm going to check in on California
where the
in the
president
background.
will need to do well. Still out. This Detroit area where he's not going to generally do well if he holds his own there, and that's where John James. We're talking about John James, the Senate candidate, overperforming against Gary Peters, the first-term incumbent. This is helpful to Donald Trump because even if he picks off one or two more, I can't answer Mark's question fully, but I will tell you that the president won the state by 10,704 votes.
Right.
So you're playing on a razor's edge in this state. Those small differences can make a difference.
And could John James, this very popular senator that could take this thing for the Senate, could he carry the president in Michigan?
Well, that's the point, is that when you're playing on a margin of 10,704 votes, if John James internally, we were talking about him being up 5 to 7 points today. I mean, look, if he can carry the president by a handful of votes in some key areas and do well in Detroit, especially among black voters, that's enough.
Yeah. So one thing that was true, the president's campaign said it from the beginning. He needed to get more votes in any state he won last time in order to win. Turnout was going to be higher. There wasn't going to be a strong Green candidate or Libertarian candidate.
Yeah.
So right now the president's got 788,000 votes, a quarter of the vote in. I'm no math genius.
Yeah.
4 years ago, he got 2.2 million votes. 4 times that is more than 2.2 million.
And as we look
so
at
he's
Wayne,
on track for more, which is what he needs.
Well, this is what we saw in Florida, Mark.
And as we can see from the map, the Upper Peninsula is Trump country. The western part of the state is Trump country. The northern part of the glove is Trump country. So,
and to be fair, you've got Wayne County, which is where Detroit is. That's the big city, and that is only 3% in at this time. So, I mean, it's going to change Obviously, that big. Usually, the big cities report earlier.
Right. Here's a dirty little secret about people who make fun of Hillary Clinton. She's a better candidate in many ways than Joe Biden in a lot of states.
That's
Well,
sad.
that's
That's
a
sad.
better organization.
Better organization, but a better Michigan candidate because she had more connection to the city of Detroit than Joe Biden does. And she had a better connection to labor in some ways than Joe Biden did. She had her husband.
That's interesting.
This is a state where the president can do better because who he's running against.
Look, you talk about trade. The president passed that new NAFTA, the USMCA. Joe Biden voted for NAFTA. The president brought that up. That's a big deal around the Detroit area. If he can hold that vote, talk about trade. John James helps him a little bit there. All of those things are important to him.
It's a great point because it's another issue. Again, press doesn't typically cover issues.
Yeah.
Donald Trump's position on trade for people in labor in Michigan, crystal clear.
That's right.
They definitely don't cover Donald Trump issues.
What's Joe Biden's position on trade? He was in an administration that was pro-free trade. How much did the press ask him to talk about trade in this election? Almost none.
Right.
How much did Bernie Sanders ask him to talk about trade? This much. And how much did he talk about it? This much.
That's right.
And they know it.
And that's right. These are the folks that come to Trump rallies. These are the folks that we're talking about that want to say no to the establishment. These are those people that they've been made fun of, that the Barack Obama campaign said that they cling to their guns and their religion. These are the people in pickup trucks around Detroit that go to work every day, that care about their jobs. And here's where the coronavirus comes into play. Donald Trump's been very clear about opening the economy. These are people who want to open the economy. They want to go to work.
And these are folks who also get that Joe Biden comes in and he hikes taxes.
That's
and
right.
what happens when you hike taxes amid economic insecurity or uncertain times? That creates job loss, and a lot of people are concerned
And just to show everybody, this is the Kent County I was talking about. That's Grand Rapids. That's about half in at this point. The president with a 15-point lead in a county he only won by 3 in 2016, and then you go down. Well, I can't find Oakland County on here.
I'll say two things about Michigan.
There it is.
If the president wins Michigan, he will be reelected.
Oh
yeah.
And if the president wins Michigan, his aides 4 years ago were mildly surprised he won Michigan. If he wins Michigan at this time, along with every Biden supporter, they will be stunned if he wins it. Stunned.
It is stunning. Okay.
Well, let's pray that they will be stunned.
Guys, let me move my phone.
Come on back into the fold.
Let's just pray that they will be stunned.
We've been good.
You have been good. You've earned your way back.
Wow. Well,
I think one.
I think they're deciding that Ilhan Omar has secured her seat.
Americans do not like to be.
Oh, really?
What to do?
Yes.
Didn't she marry her brother?
By mainstream media, by Democrats, by elitists. We don't
I think that's fair to say.
Certainly aren't as a country. While
She
there
married
might
her
be some
brother,
elements
and
out
she still
there,
keep
some
her
rare
gig,
people
because
who
stupid
are,
people don't
Joe
read.
Biden and his
She's
campaign have repeatedly told us that
she's
as
up
Americans,
65.6% with 232,840 votes. So they've already declared her. She's won that re-election for the 5th congressional district in Minnesota.
Down to the south.
Is it time for AOC? Does that include AOC? Does she have to rerun too?
Well, yes, she did, and it's fine that you asked that because I'm looking at her stats right now, and it looks like the guy that was running against her, he was supposed to be a write-in, and they're showing 0%.
So listen, I mean,
because they took his write-in.
1,977
They made
counties,
sure of that.
2662 in. Right now,
I
it's
mean,
a dead precincts, right? It
Okay,
is
let's
a dead
listen. Wait a minute.
But what we've been talking about before, Joe Biden was up 3 or 4 points a few minutes ago. As more precincts came in, it was down to 1 point. It is now 49.47 to 49.14. The Biden lead keeps evaporating. If Jason Miller is right about this and the counties that are remaining favor Trump, this puts Trump in a good place. Tillis, by the way, is up right now over Cal Cunningham in that crucial Senate race by just a little bit. It's funny. Tillis is actually not getting as many votes as the president, right? He's losing some, but percentage-wise, he's actually ahead of Cal Cunningham by a smidge.
What's interesting is how the president is doing this. As North Carolina looks good, I've been comparing these numbers from 2016 to now. You've got this.
Spicer been eating good since he left.
Suburb of Charlotte. The president won this handily in 2016. Cabarrus went 19 to. The president right now, he's only about +8.
There's 50.
That's an underperform for the president in the suburb.
How badly does the New York
49% reporting out of New York, but I think Ocasio-Cortez is going to stay. Can you believe the people of New York?
They're idiots.
Clear Needle says the president now has a 95% chance of winning North Carolina. And when I called your attention to the needle, it said 94. So in that blink of an eye, it went from 94 to 94.
Ahead. I'm glad to hear that.
So,
however, we still have to think about those early votes that came in, and they have until the 12th of November to count all of those. Now, would that potentially be enough? But they do have some time to count those.
Well, the Times takes that into account.
Oh, they do.
They know the full universe. Look, we're getting towards. We don't know about Ohio and Iowa or Texas for sure. We still don't know about Georgia for sure. But we're getting towards the point where the president might win all significant 6. And we're talking about a 2-state election, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's right.
Just
we're getting towards that point.
Heather, the Democrats led early vote in North Carolina, 1,701,336 to 1,443,882 to the Republicans. That's a 300,000 vote lead for the Democrats. But the Trump campaign felt very confident that they had that many election day voters going into today. The key thing with that is when you're a Democrat in the early vote, you knew how many you had in the bank. The Trump campaign knew if they could get that turnout operation working, that they could overcome it. But you just don't know on the morning of election day whether they'll go. They are clearly feeling confident now that those people did what they thought they'd do.
If you look at
North Carolina on the screen,
if you look at what ground game might end up meaning for this race, I
Boy.
think the biggest irony of 2020 will be the Democrats were certain that the pandemic would stop Donald Trump from being reelected, and the Democrats canceling their ground game because of the pandemic.
Come on, you guys.
Wow.
You
You just said 94%.
You're making me nervous.
Can we flip back to North Carolina real quick?
Lockhart.
Because it still has Biden in the lead. If we can just jump back to that last full screen, guys.
But what these formulas do, the way these formulas work for the New York Times,
I think Old Head has a dig for you.
They're not just looking at the they're looking at the exit poll. They're looking at the polls of people who voted by mail. They're looking at where the vote is at.
I mean, that's 97% in.
Everybody is very cautious because of the environment we're in. So if the New York Times is saying that, they're pretty darn
sure. That's what is that? Is that 15?
Hi, Kathy. Welcome.
It's less than.
It's less than 10,000.
Hi, Kathy. Thanks so much for coming in.
They know where the vote is at.
Right.
And they know how
Thanks so much for hitting that like button
right now. They know. But look, I got to dovetail on what Mark said. This is crucial. After 2016, the media and the Democrats doubted the Trump campaign and the RNC working together to put together the most sophisticated data operation and ground game in political history. The biggest mistake that they made this time was not recognizing that it got stronger over the last 4 years. While Joe Biden was trying to win a Democratic primary among 25 other candidates, the RNC and the Trump campaign were focused on the general election the whole time. So you think about that. That gave them a 3-year head start of recruiting
identifying
volunteers,
people, recruiting volunteers, figuring out what would get them to vote. This is why incumbents win. Because they have 4 years to do it.
Just take a step back. Isn't this nuts?
But the idea
that all of the factors that have been against the president, for this to even be this close.
No. Because here's the point. The Biden campaign and the media just assumed a lot of stuff. The idea that you watched it happen in 2016 and then say, by the way, let's take all of our.
If you notice, they're already posting disclaimers. Results may not be final.
Fundamentally misunderstand what
and we know why.
Mechanically speaking.
For the first time since the founding of the republic, we've had 3 straight 2-term presidents: Clinton, Bush, and Obama, and each one learned from the previous one. How do you keep from losing? Because before them was George H.W. Bush, who lost. They all looked at that and said, if you're incumbent, the Trump campaign they had 3 things to look at, 3 templates: Clinton, Bush, Obama. And it starts with start running right away. You know when the president filed for re-election? On inauguration day. He's been running for 4 years, it was what we say, a day with a huge
I wish we
crowd.
had focused on that.
A huge crowd. This is one of the hugest advantages an incumbent has. They look, and as I said over at the board, what the president's team said was, we need more votes than we got last time to win. How are we going to get them? We're going to go find all these people.
I still stand by my statement and say this is nuts.
You got to understand something. The Trump campaign and the RNC, Chris Carr, who's the political director, that gave every single person on the campaign a copy of the Obama book, Groundbreakers. They were like, look, study this ground game. This is how Obama won. The idea that the Biden campaign that sat there and rode shotgun along to that campaign and didn't pick up the lessons, even if they pull out a win tonight, the idea that these guys pulled their people off the field and didn't realize that that's the reason they won in 2008.
They were the responsible shutdown campaign.
Right.
Okay.
Shut down the field operation.
We're going to jump back and just kind of remind everybody about the state of Florida, where this run all began, as the president looks better and better as the night goes on. Look at that number, 51-48 at this point. That's 99% in. The president winning, it looks like about almost 400,000 votes, which, as Jim McLaughlin said, is a landslide in the state of Florida, which is always tight. 29 electoral votes to the president. And what else we got in here? They want me to jump up.
What's up with
I am gonna
Arizona?
leave you some people now and leave you in the hands
Sure.
of the great John
We should
Bach.
check
who's gonna
in
take
with
the
them.
big chair as we take a look at Florida. Well, I guess we'll just do it like this.
I guess so.
We'll see.
We see it. Wait, Inner Sandman coming on. Here's your phone.
You know, I just feel like
FYI,
I'm gonna put them on pause. I'm gonna put them on mute for a second
Okay.
so I can talk, so we can chat. They're on
Yeah, you know,
commercial.
I just feel like, you know, just as an American, again, not taking any sides, I definitely know the one guy I don't like. And I definitely know why I have my bitter qualms with the seated president. And I have a right to have any qualms with him that I choose. Well, because I voted for him in 2016. I just want to say that if he does pull this out, I think that all Americans who voted for him in 2016 and who were disenchanted with some of his decisions, especially with let's just make it a large, broad range. Last 18 months, okay? Over the last 18 months, there need to be some questions asked and some answers given. You know what I mean? I mean, if he pulls this off, even though some folks in the room did not vote for him this time, I like I said originally, I believe that my job was to pray the best for the nation and give that to the Most High and ask Him for the best for our country, because I truly and honestly believe that, because I don't know everything that goes on behind closed doors. I don't know the people's true intentions of their actions, that I could not put my hand on it this time because it was just too muddy. So I pray that, you know, if he is the person that does win, that we're able to get some concrete answers to some of the myths, or I shouldn't even say myths, the smoke screens. That's what I mean. The smoke screens that have been surrounding him over the last 18 months. I think that I think that just looking at, you know, some of the things that's gone on, him not standing up for specific things and then him allowing certain cryptic things. We need some answers, because over the next 4 years, the things that he's done and has laid ground for the last 18 months or so, that stuff's going to stick. So I need to know, you know, where is his standing on certain topics. And let's just wait and see what we've got before we close up tonight, because then I'll just say what those topics are. I don't want to muddy the water right now, but I do feel like, you know, hey, you're going to do something in a powerful way. I need to understand what you meant by that and what would make you say something like that.
Precisely. I'm picking up what you're putting down, and I think it's I think if I'm picking up what you're putting down in the smallest, in the least bit, I think it's a concern, you know, worldwide, about the direction that we're going on. We need clarification. We need to stop the. I think there's so much talk that we walk away with. Sometimes we're still not sure about, you know, real positions.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You know, you can't put everything on you can't pass everything down to this person. Oh, let them do this. Let them do this. No. This is a national. If I'm picking up what you're putting down, this is a national concern, and it's coming up all over the world. Just if I'm in the same vein that you are, if you will, I even believe the UK locked down 2 days ago. They're going to be locked down for the rest of the month.
Yeah, my sister's there. She's like, yeah, we're locked down again, and I'm like, you know, for me, I feel like if locking down did not stop it in the last several months, and then you lifted it, right? Okay, so you locked them down, and then you lifted it, and then you say it's still going. Let's lock them down again. Well, what worked the first time didn't work. So why are you going to try the same thing if it's not for control? Because it's apparently about control. It's about control of the people. If it didn't work, why are you going to do it again? Because it's control, and because they can. That's what I think.
Well, yeah, I believe you. I believe there's certainly an agenda going on, and it would just be nice that if we could, like I said, before, on a previous stream that I was on, that somebody said, that the people were asking for this candy bar, and I refrained from saying, which people. I mean, that's kind of arbitrary to just throw out.
Right.
But the people, I mean, that's just as arbitrary as saying that, it's as arbitrary as anything. So who did they poll? I mean, did you get a poll about candy bars?
No, nope. Nobody asked me. Nope.
And then the thing about it is with the recovery rate, what is it about?
Nobody was asking. I just remember what you were talking about specifically. I don't know where that came from, to be honest with you. I was looking. I just want to say I don't remember anybody asking about it, especially considering the fact that I know people who are, independent, libertarian, Democrat, Republican. I have not heard anybody say, "Oh, we want this. We just got to have it. Give it to us." I haven't heard anybody say that. Now, let's see. Protesters storm an area near the White House. Can we pop that up? Look at that. Can we turn that up?
Out there. All right, let's get back now and start looking at some states. We'll break it down.
Can we take it back a little?
In a second. Congressman Jody Hice, Republican there, on the ballot tonight. Polls in Georgia closed 3 hours ago at 7 p.m. They're still too close to call when it comes to President Trump. But let's focus on North Carolina, Sean, as you were saying.
I just said, just a moment ago, we've now seen just over 50 more precincts come in the last few minutes in North Carolina. There's now 2,130 precincts of the 2,662 that there is. Donald Trump has now taken the lead in North Carolina by 0.5%. It's roughly 30,000 votes in the state. But again, you're seeing this incremental shift. This is what Jason Miller, the communications director on the Trump campaign, was talking about. The shift is at least moving in his direction. Tom Tillis has now taken almost a full point lead over Cal Cunningham. So again, the direction and the movement is going in the president's direction. That's got to be good news for everyone sitting in the White House watching this go down.
Big Mo. There's another. Big Mo is exactly what I was just going to talk about. There's another. I keep talking about psychology. So important. The president right now, I bet he wants to go out and speak, and they're restraining him.
Or tweet.
Or tweet.
Yeah, he needs to be quiet. They need to take that.
Panic. Guys, here's what's going on in their head.
They need to take his Twitter away.
Pennsylvania. Did we make mistakes? Finger pointing, second guessing. I'm getting messages from them asking me what's going on, even though they've got a giant boiler room. This is a moment. This is a moment where they can actually make mistakes that impact the outcome, because one side's feeling great and confident and defying expectations, and the other side is wondering, did we blow this?
All right, let's get to Congressman Jody Hice. He's standing by right now. Congressman, great to hear from you.
Great to be with you. Thanks.
All right, so give us your boots on the ground assessment of how things are playing out in Georgia, and go Dogs, by the way.
Hey, go Dogs. Listen, it's a great night here in Georgia. We're seeing a lot of movement in the president's direction. Right now, he's at 55%. I don't see any slowing down with him in Georgia. I think unquestionably, Georgia's going to go with Trump. It's going to be a great night for this state. It's going to be a great night for America.
You have any insight on those Senate races there?
We're watching them very closely. And I don't know who all is going to be in the runoff, but things are looking great. David Perdue is very strong. He very likely could win this without a runoff tonight. The other Senate race is going to likewise very strong with both Loeffler and Collins. I don't know which one of those will be in a runoff, but we're excited the direction that this whole state is moving towards right now.
All right, Congressman, thank you so much. We will get back to you maybe a little bit later. I got an announcement to make, guys. We're going to make another call in the Senate race. We're going to go ahead and call South Carolina now for Lindsey Graham, one of the most expensive Senate races in the history of all Senate races there. Lots of outside money pouring in, Heather.
And he is such a strong member of the U.S. Senate.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad to see that he is going to be staying.
Okay, I'll be honest. I'm glad to see it, but
Georgia, North Carolina, really important.
He had to get whipped in shape.
Republicans are watching so carefully, not wanting to lose control of the
Senate. I'm not a fan of Grahamnesty.
There's not anything.
I don't like the way that he was with the president originally.
They're doing better in North Carolina than people thought.
We'll talk on a break because I got something to say.
Would be competitive. And in Georgia,
I have a little bit of a meme for you. I don't know if you can handle it, but we'll hold that one too.
John Cornyn in Texas.
I'm gonna
So
say,
right now,
hey,
we're looking at Susan Collins in Maine. We're looking at the Iowa race. But Democrats could end this night not only not having gotten to 270 electoral votes, but looking at a return of the 3 words they most detest: Majority Leader McConnell, after President Trump.
And talking about the emotional aspect of this, Sean, just how defeating must it be for Democrats? Jamie Harrison, great candidate, $100 million pointed at. They all hate Lindsey Graham for Amy Coney Barrett, and now they know that he's going to be in the Senate for 6 years.
Again, and it's not just look. This is the problem. We keep talking about this. I've talked about this a lot on my show. It's a culture issue. He's been on Jamie Harrison's been on all these late night shows. They've been talking about them. They believe that he was he's going to defeat Lindsey Graham. That's a pretty decisive victory. If it comes close to holding that, a 10-point victory after being told, I mean, he raised what, $85 million or something that fourth quarter, something ridiculous like that.
Most ever.
I mean, and so it just shows you that, again, this is where the money and the media are getting it wrong. There is something going on in this country that the folks that are leading the big tech, big corporate America, academia, and everything else just don't get.
And it's Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say the disdain that they have for Trump voters
Yeah.
or conservatives in general, you can see it all over their faces to the point where you don't even want to watch.
Well, I think that
a
was
lot of news coverage because
that
it's so
Lady Gaga
snarky.
video yesterday is one of those things where, how does the campaign let that get out? Because that, I don't know, that may have been worth a few points
the
in
last
places
cycle,
like
Katy
Georgia.
Perry went to North Carolina. They made the same mistake with Clinton and Katy Perry on election night. And then you see Lady Gaga go dress up in camo, sit by a pickup truck, and mock Trump voters. But it's not Trump voters. That's mocking a lot of Americans who think that they're hardworking people. Again, these are these hourly wage workers, these blue collar people, small business owners.
Hey, by the way, who doesn't like to chug a beer and then throw it down on the ground? Do you have a problem with that, Sean Spicer? I hope not.
And it's happening right now.
Yes,
It's
right
not-
before our very
No, it's not just pre-election. It's not just Lady Gaga. Right now, the governor of Florida, who's a Trump populist associate, is tweeting, why are the media organizations, not Newsmax, because we projected Trump would win Florida, why are the major news organizations not saying the president's won Florida? Their view is
Can I just tell you
they're
this?
trying to keep the president from having a victory, not because they're being cautious and careful and the vote's very
I will
close.
tell you this. If you're watching Newsmax tonight, call your friends, email your friends, tell them if they want to know what's really going on in this election, tune into Newsmax now because they're not seeing it on the other networks. They're afraid to call because they have to admit they were wrong.
We are going to talk to Governor DeSantis. He's going to join us here in about 20 minutes. So we'll get an update from him and we'll hear from the horse's mouth why, what
Well,
he's
you
saying
guys
about
share
that.
this
Also, now we
out
wanna
so
get
that
to
people
Jeff Kaufman, who is the Iowa
can
Republican
find
Party
out.
chairman.
Share it
Chairman
out.
Kaufman, great to see you. Thanks for joining
Yes,
us.
if you guys could share this out, it would be very
All right, so
helpful.
Iowa part of the Significant Six, important Senate race.
And
there
I
as
will
well.
say
Give us
that I
your
think
take on how
Newsmax
things are
is
going.
doing a
We sensed
formidable
something
job
special
here.
this morning. We had lines in places where people couldn't remember there being lines in those precinct buildings for 20, 30 years. We knew today that if we could add thousands to people that were voting, we knew that we were going to have a good night, and that's exactly what has happened. I really believe that the president is going to win. I think we're going to win well over 5, maybe even approaching what we did in 2016. And Joni is in a very strong position. This is a great evening tonight. You can feel it here on the ground, and I think even the Democrats sense it here.
And one of the issues for Iowa voters, specifically the trade war with China, you heard a lot of, reprisals from China, specifically hitting Iowa, putting tariffs on pork imports, things like that. And a lot of people thought that was going to do Donald Trump in Iowa. It clearly didn't.
Absolutely. I mean, we had CNN and MSDNC. They were on the ground. They were finding any farmer they could find to say something negative about the president. They found a couple of organic turnip farmers, and that's about it. And the bottom line is our farmers, regardless of party, stuck with this president because they believed he was doing something that no one ever did, and that is confronting China. And he is going to be rewarded tonight with a historic victory in rural Iowa and in Iowa in general.
All right. Iowa Republican Party Chairman Jeff Kaufman, thanks so much for that. Great to see you.
Great to be here.
All right, we're going to go ahead and call Kansas right now for President Trump. We can put some more points up on the board for the president there. Kansas now in the win column for Donald J. Trump. All right, let's also check in now with Emma Reckenberg, who's following some reaction to tonight's events on social media. Emma, what do you got for us?
Hey, John, we'll start with this. President Trump gaining ground in key states like North Carolina. Here's what some of his supporters are urging voters to do on social media. Candace Owens saying this: stay in line, North Carolina. The state is ours. Mainstream media reporting on mail-in ballots early, so do not freak when you see the needles blue in the beginning. Hashtag Make America Great Again. Okay, journalist Trish Regan staying positive on President Trump's chances of taking North Carolina as well, tweeting this, saying vote is narrowing in North Carolina, and a reminder, rural counties filing later than urban. Some good advice there. Also want to show you this. Candidate for the 11th Congressional District in North Carolina, Madison Cawthorn, poking fun at liberals for the president's success, saying, cry more, lib. Keep in mind, he is 25 years old and could replace Congresswoman AOC as the youngest member of the House if he wins. Latest predictions is he has a 95% chance of taking that seat. And we're going to keep you updated as the night progresses. John, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Emma, thanks so much for that. We're going to take a short break here. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Okay, I'm glad they're going to pause. So they're saying now the polls that you saw earlier was showing that he was at 0, and yet this one is showing that he could take it. I'm lost. What did they just say?
Well, okay, let me see. For AOC, is that what they were talking?
Yeah, because I'd like to see her, gone like a zit. You know what I mean? If you have ever had a bad case of like acne and you knew you had to go to the prom and you totally wanted to go away, I want her to leave like a tree.
I think what they were saying is, which is really kind of just a matter of fact kind of thing. I'm thinking they're comparing the age because she was the youngest senator to the youngest freshman that they had, I think historically. But this guy, this Madison kid, he is on the verge of, he's winning in another, I don't know. I'm not sure if I understand the context of that, why they were comparing those two like that, because she's winning. She's got 73 with 49% reporting. She's got 73,768 votes over the John Cummings, who's running against her as a Republican with 30,403 votes. So, she's on top in that district. But this guy, man, I just saw, let me see. I just saw something on him. Isn't it crazy?
That's psycho. Here's the thing, and I think that we've all said this, everybody, including those of us in the stream. It to me appears that people really do trust what they see and what they hear. They don't do any deep investigative research. And on some of these individuals, it doesn't require a lot of deep digging. You know what I mean? You should just be able to take the person and truly look. Okay. And if you got to go incognito, and then you'll find out some truth. I don't understand how she's made it this far. Go ahead.
I don't. I think there's something in the milk is not clean, if you will. But so the Madison Cawthorn, he's going to win the North Carolina seat is what he's about to win in the 11th district, I guess, over there. But yeah, I don't know why they threw that in. Don't confuse us. We're trying to, in the words of Joe Biden, we're trying to stick to kitchen table items.
My goodness, girl, I got some stuff on that man today. And while I was making that other video, I had to make myself stop because, I don't usually go over 2 or 3, 4 minutes on a video, especially when it's just my commentary. It's not a news brief. If a news brief is going to take me longer, obviously I record it. But this was just my commentary. And there was so much left on the cutting room floor where this guy is concerned that shows that mentally he's not fit to even run for, oh goodness, a dog catcher of the year. I mean, he's just not fit. And I feel so bad for him because I feel like, is it really about the money, Joe? Because this is what my interpretation of his running has been, that he's just being paid to run so that they can, infiltrate and get who they really want in there. And they're using his face because he's familiar. right? But when I look at him stumble over his words, bless his heart, you know what I mean? I mean, say different states that he's in and he's not. Tell everybody stuff like, well, you know, my name is Joe Biden, and then you know I'm running for Senate. Take me over, take a look me over, and see. And I'm like, yo, dude, you ain't running for Senate. You're running for the president. It's like he doesn't know where he is half the time. And that's sort of, excuse me, to me, that's elder abuse. Bruce Wayne says Florida, Georgia, Ohio, North Carolina should be called for the Republicans easily by now. Yeah, but we also know what we're dealing with. And that's the reason why, for
These
those of us who
ballots.
know how to pray, we have to pray. You've got to pray. God's will be done in the situation. That's our responsibility. Because these folks right here, there's some, like you just said, there's something in the ointment. There's something bad in the milk.
Okay, I got some.
Oh, they got some chocolate on the screen. That's some chocolate on the screen. Chocolate report.
Okay. Oh my God, you're killing me. Wait, let's snap that.
Jones, and we can erase the whole Roy Moore thing, you know, from our.
I don't even remember.
It never happened, right? Carl Higby's here with us. Joe Pinion also with us as well.
Alrighty.
Let's get into it. We're going to talk.
I've seen him before.
Now, we're going to get to Congressman Jody Arrington.
Well, he's in your age range.
Who's joining us now live. Congressman Arrington, great to talk to you again as always.
Great to be with you guys, and exciting night. And I'm hopeful that Texas, the fiercely independent, freedom-loving people in Texas, are going to go all in for Trump before the night's over. Looks like things are headed that way. So I'm feeling good about the prospects here in the Lone Star State.
You know, Congressman, just last week, Beto O'Rourke was begging Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to come to Texas because he said it was in play. Not so much, right?
Look, you cannot have a Green New Disaster policy that would regulate agriculture and fracking off the face of the planet. I mean, we're the largest ag and energy state in the country. We produce more ag and energy product than any region in the world. In my part of Texas, in West Texas,
yes, Bruce.
We're a
yes.
border state. I mean, the president has done an exceptional job reducing illegal border crossings. So lots of promises have been made by lots of politicians on both sides. By the way, we're the largest exporting state in the union, and plenty of Democrats have said we're going to end the giant sucking sound in Mexico stealing our jobs. But nobody did anything about it until this president came along. So there are lots of reasons on the list of things the president has accomplished and some of the radical agenda that's been propagated by presidential candidates on the Democrat side that I think will give Texas the confidence in our president having 4 more years as our chief executive.
All right, Congressman, Senator John Cornyn looking pretty good there as well. We appreciate your time, sir. Have a great night.
Thanks, John. Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, guys, let's talk about Virginia and Michigan. But just, again, to take a step back, Sean, something you were saying previously about the fundamentals of this, the simplicity of, you know, really kind of what's at play here, the ground game, the economy, the basic things that have won president's election cycle after cycle. Joe Biden and his campaign seem to get way out in front of that stuff. Donald Trump didn't forget it.
Well, look, this is
why do they call that for
the Obama
Biden?
Campaign really wrote the book on it. I mean, they really understood the importance of individual contact with voters, individual data on voters. The Trump campaign and the RNC learned that lesson well, expanded it across the party under Chairman Reince Priebus, and I think the Trump campaign executed it beautifully. You had a candidate with a message that utilized the mechanism and the mechanics that the RNC had to offer for a winning formula. The Biden campaign lost track of the fact that the Obama campaign handed it to him on a silver platter.
Right.
They literally wrote a book on it. And they put their guys off the field and said, we're not going to do this door to door. We're going to do it virtually. There's nothing that can replace that personal contact, knocking on a door. You can do it safely in COVID, but someone's going to tell you a lot more in person than they will on an email survey. You can read their face, find out how many more people are in there. Are they going to vote earlier and often? Who influences them? All that information, all data is so crucial.
We got some problems here. I got some different information.
By the way, they had a Trump
and I want to know why.
They had a Biden sign. That's a lot more of a committed voter than someone who, you know, responds back to an email and says, you know, I'm probably going to vote for Biden. Someone who's putting that sign in the ground or telling you that they're willing to volunteer or giving you their personal information. The Biden campaign, if they lose by 3 points in a lot of these states, that's going to be to blame for it.
Yeah, and I think that's right. And I think there's also some more fundamental things like, in Florida, what do you think is going to happen when you wave a flag of Che Guevara, in South Florida? We're all surprised.
That was
by
their
the
whole
results
backdrop
a
for the
little bit in
DNC.
Miami-Dade
That's all
County.
they were
But
missing.
when you
okay,
flirt with
we got
these
some
radical
discrepancies
elements,
in
there's
their
gonna be a
numbers.
reaction, and that's what we're seeing.
But also, look,
Okay.
as I mentioned earlier, you had the
Let's check.
governor of
Let's
Puerto
check
Rico.
them.
She came
Yeah.
out and
Let's
endorsed
let's
Donald Trump.
go to
No
another
one
source.
in the mainstream
Let's
media
fact
took
check 'em.
notice of that, right? They
Yeah,
kept saying, "Well,
I'm gonna search around.
This is the danger. These are the landmines.
Yeah, keep running what they're saying. I'm
Okay.
going to try to find somebody to fact check, because what I'm seeing, so what I'm looking for right now, folks, we see what they're saying on the channel we're watching. I'm seeing something totally different. Now we have to get a tiebreaker, so I'm going to have to find another source to glean their information from them, because something is awry and I don't know why, but we're going to find out. Let's see.
Okay.
ELECTIONary. Let's see what we've got. So they're calling. Okay, let me see. This is from Florida. All right, let's see. Fox News is coming up with some totally different numbers, and I'm sort of concerned about that. And that's the other election information that we had on our screen earlier. And so now they're showing some really kooky stuff going on. And I am sort of concerned because, well, I want to trust somebody, but what they're showing is, yeah, we're going to have to pull something else. Do you have any other source that you could use right quick just to try to break it?
Not right. Well, it'll be more of a, I might have a local or something, but not a, let me see.
And can you trust your local?
Actually, I can try the C-SPAN. Let's see. Go back to C-SPAN and see that.
And that may be where they're getting their numbers from Fox, because I'm like, yo, wait a minute. Okay,
See, see, even their numbers are still okay. Do you want to show this screen?
Yeah, show your screen, because I'm still searching and looking. Oh, I know who to try. Let's see. I know who to try. Go ahead. Let's see. Keep what you got going on, and then I'll try to.
Yeah, because that C-SPAN one is looking really drab.
A bit anemic.
Looking a little thin, a little sickly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, who else do we have here? I said,
put something on. I don't want no dead air. Then people be talking about, why did she do that? Why did she do that?
There you go. We're going to get out of the dead air space.
Yeah, I don't want them saying, why she do that to her? She had it going.
Race and ethnicity, and that's a mistake.
And we saw the Democrats send, the race down there.
Keep
Barack
them
Obama
going
yesterday to try and shore up, or a couple days ago to try and shore up South Florida, and he did not get the job done, apparently. Great info there, Professor Dershowitz. We'll be back with you coming up later. And we will also come back a little bit later with Governor Ron DeSantis, who will be with us to give us his assessment. We talked to him earlier today. He predicted a big win for President Trump in Florida. Turns out he was right. We'll talk to the governor next.
This country was made by tax rebels, freedom fighters, gold seekers, believers, lovers, and true patriots. We're Newsmax, and we're their heirs, and so are you. Newsmax TV, real news for real people.
For your home and the field, to protect and provide. With over 200 models of rifles and shotguns to choose from, there's a Henry that's ready for you. Henrys are made in America or not made at all, backed by a lifetime warranty. They're reliable and affordable. For a free catalog and decals, call the number on your screen or visit HenryUSA.com.
Okay, I've got something.
Okay.
That's HenryUSA.com.
All right, same people, but they're doing something different right now.
This is Fracture. Just upload an image, place your
order.
order.
Okay, here I go. I'll
your
share
door
it now.
Beautifully printed directly on glass. And this isn't just another frame, not just another canvas.
Let me know when to stop.
This is a Fracture.
Okay, go.
Visit
these
fracture.com and print
friends.
one today.
At touchofmodern.com, we get that the
Let me
things you
just put them
surround
on
yourself
mute
with
here.
reflect who you are.
This thing better be moving. I don't know whether you can see. Okay, here I go. Here I go to save the day. Okay, hello, computer. Do your thing. Computer love. computer love. Computer love. It ain't showing me no love. I don't like that. You need to be showing me some love right now. This computer is truly tripping. Okay, it says stop sharing screen. Well, I'm not sharing the screen. Okay, let me share the screen now. Let's see what happens. You guys are so sweet for loving me through my fumbleness. I just be fumbling up a storm. All right, there you go. It should be. Wow, it's not. Well, let me. Whoa. I guess
see
it's
the previous one down there. The previous one that you had. Should I take?
Yeah. Okay, can we take that one? Let's edit. Let's stop this
Stop
one.
sharing. Okay, you got rid of that one.
Sharing that one. Okay, now let's share a new one. Let's give something up. Let's give it up here. Let's give it up. Let's give it up. Okay, let's see. My British friend says there's a betting website. Okay, can y'all see that?
I see the same one. You want me to add it to the stream? You just put this one back. This one?
Yeah. However, the numbers are growing on this one. The numbers are growing.
Yeah, I saw that on another source, which it was on C-SPAN. C-SPAN has the numbers above, a similar range.
But you know what it looks like to me? Let's just riddle me this. Riddle me this. If this could happen, could it be possible that some of these mainstream channels have been, all in one accord about saying what's what so that they can discount Newsmax and anybody else who has the proper numbers to do whatever it is that they want to do? I mean, kookier things have happened. If you follow what I'm trying to say.
I do. I believe that they are keeping things a little bit confusing.
Yeah, by controlling the numbers, you control the narrative, right?
Right. Yeah, because it's totally different. It looks like Trump is on the it's not landslide looking.
But it looks like he's on the rail.
Right. It looks like it's close. It's going to be a close call. So which is this source?
Well, see, this is from Fox News. What I was saying earlier about it looking kooky. And I'm just going to close it out altogether because it doesn't look like it wants to play any reindeer games with me. Let me read this in the chat. It says, Bruce Wayne says, my British friend says there's a betting website that's pretty accurate, and it's a 1.7 Trump to 3.8 Biden return on bet, meaning the market is leaning Trump strongly. Closest $1 wins. I'm gonna tell you something, Bruce. We can't be betting on these folks right. We can't be betting on these folks right here, baby. They will have us broke as a joke. I wish I would go vote on some and bet on some of this stuff, girl. I'm telling you what.
Let me look in on. I'm going to look in on California for just a second because I know the polls closed.
Yeah,
see how I heard a peep out of Maxine.
Oh, Mad Max. Oh, Mad Max.
Magic.
Max. Yeah, that's it. Sing it. Good old Mad Max.
Forgot where I was. Oh no.
It's okay. It's okay. Mad Max.
Oh.
Mad Max.
Yeah, that's not singing is not my specialty. Let's see. All right, I want to.
Okay, so here you go. There you go. Can you see it?
Hold on. I got. Let's see. Add it to the stream.
We got it.
Okay, I see it. See, it's got the house on the ups, but everything else is on the down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! Touchdown Sean says I saw something where they were saying some people could have pretended to vote for Trump.
Child, the stuff that they come up with these days. Is that the reason why they asking for their vote back after they found out about Biden? Touchdown. Did you hear him saying that they wanted their vote back? Can I take my vote back? I done heard what his son done did. I want my vote back. I mean, I don't know. We have, oh Lord, you can tell we a new country in comparison to the scheme of things. You know what I'm saying? You can show enough tell that as into the scheme of things or the way other countries are, you can tell we knew. Last election, Kathy says, I stayed up until the results. This election, I went up to my bed and got quiet before the Lord and nothing else to say. I've been praying, and I'm totally with Kathy. I am totally with Kathy. The only thing that we can do is pray for this situation. That's it. We can't do anything else. Because see, here's why I've been saying to pray. I've been saying pray because he and only he can make things go the way he wants them to. We give him the power, the Most High God, the power to work on our behalf when we trust him and say, I know I can't fix this situation, but I know you know what's right and you know what's best. You see, this election is going to have an outcome one way or the other. What my job is to pray that the Most High's will be done, and I give it to him. I give it all to you. I don't know, but you do. So we got to get real quiet, just like Kathy just said, and pray. Oh
There you
boy,
go.
look at that. There you go. There you go. Nah, that's not good. That stinks. That really stinks.
Yeah. Well,
there you go.
Lockhart.
Yes, baby.
I'm telling you, this thing right here.
I mean, Spicer's channel gave us some hope as far as our country is concerned. Because let's just be really honest, you guys, even though there are some of us who can see exactly what it is that's going on in this world right now today, some of us already know in the spirit what time it is, right? Here is the truth. We don't want to deal with them folks over there in the blue right now. We know what's coming, but as long as we can hold it off, we're a little bit better off because these folks are going to come in straight up running run shots. They're not going to they're going to be straight no chaser. How about that?
I know. And that's the thing. It's like, this is the part where I was seeking occasion. My head is going to spin because I can only volley my head back and forth between so many sources before, the credibility of the media is just so bad. And look what they do to us, on this night. You know what I mean?
That's differing information. Yeah, this information is totally different than what Spicer's information is, albeit I trust Spicer's information because I truly believe that they are getting their information from true sources. I think that over the time, this particular network that we got on the screen right here has truly shown their side of just really pulling away from what is right. You see what I'm saying? I think that eventually they're just going to replace CNN. And with that, can you put back Mr. Spicer?
Yes, I will do. I will be happy to bring him back for all
Let me cut these folks off.
Let's see.
You haven't heard nothing about California even for the last couple of days, maybe one thing. So true, Kathy.
Ooh,
and Anthony
and nobody thought Donald was going to be the candidate to do that. But again, here we are.
Of course not. Supposedly he's the big racist out there, but you're going to see incredible surges of support in the Black community. In 2016, he only got 8%. I think he'll get over 20%. In 2016, he only got 27, 28% in the Hispanic community. He's already up around 40, maybe 45% here in Texas. And you know what happened with the Cuban American community down in Miami-Dade County. So he, based upon his policies, he has shown that he's a person that wants all of the boats to rise, not just a certain amount of boats.
All right, Colonel West, we still have a long night ahead of us.
Yeah.
We will maybe check back in with you later. We do appreciate your time. Thanks so much, sir.
My pleasure.
All right. And we, of course, have been asking you tonight, what do you think and who do you think is going to win? Be a part of our Newsmax poll. Text the word poll right now to 39747. Again, text the word poll 39747 for more on that. All right, let's get back now. Carl Higbee, Joe Pinion standing by. Joe, this is something you and I have been talking about for months. And, were we actually going to see the results on election night, the inroads that Donald Trump has tried to make with the Black community, the Platinum Plan? I mean, we kind of joked about all the rappers joining the campaign lately. But all kidding aside, we're seeing the fruits of the labor.
You look back, you're looking at going to Miami-Dade, you had President Trump. Right now, I mean, if these numbers hold, you had Joe Biden was hovering around 54% right now in Miami-Dade compared to Hillary Clinton at 63%. That's an election. Right. So when you start talking about extrapolating that across the country to the extent that that's even possible, but you start seeing, again, these trends, like I said before, this Hispanic uptick in places like Georgia, this Hispanic uptick in places like Texas, where, again, when you start talking about those border policies, the Democrats.
You know what I have to say? I agree with everything that he's saying. I have believed for a while that they were going to misinterpret the Hispanic vote altogether, because I just felt that. A lot of times you'll find more Hispanic families that are a lot more conservative in nature. And I think that a lot of people misconstrued. Hello. Yes, I want to say hi, information man, as well. I just believe that they misconstrued it. That's all. I don't think that they knew especially if you look at the Cuban vote in Florida. They totally misunderstood it. What do you think?
Yes, I think they misunderstood it, and I think that they've done that. They did their best in their pandering attempts, but I think that they started to then they started going back to the Black community. They started they started revving it up. They pull in the rappers and the entertainment industry, and they start pulling those figures out. They start pulling out the mainstream people, or
I agree. And Sexual Chocolate still got the flow. What he saying? What is he saying?
I don't know. Do you want to zoom in, or?
Yeah, let's hear what he's talking about.
Okay.
Let's hear, because I know Lil Wayne just came on board not long ago.
Michigan people want to get out and work, and Governor Whitmer is keeping everything shut down. We can't do anything. If the Democrats get in charge, is that going to be nationwide? And that was a resounding message, for Donald Trump, I think.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that her husband is out, boating around while everybody else
do you know who my wife is?
Not a good look when it comes.
Apparently they thought that we were going to have, gangs of roaming Trump supporters with guns, trying to intimidate voters.
Which has never happened.
No, Trump voters weren't running around intimidating voters with guns. They were out there filling in bubbles to support their candidate. And that's what we're seeing from state to state to state. And that may be the story of the night, the irrational fear that the media tried to push on America, when the reality was all they were doing were rebuilding President Trump's 2016 coalition and then some on his behalf.
Well, it's clear that a lot of America is wise to the media's game, these poll numbers. They want to make their own choices. All right, you guys can see on the screen right now more unrest outside of the White House, folks milling about out there. Black Lives Matter Square right there, again, outside the White House. And let's go ahead and check now in with Dick Morris, a presidential political strategist. He's a New York Times bestselling author. And
Black Lives Matter. If you go to the Black Lives Matter website, you see all the money was going to Biden.
All right, so
yes,
Black Lives Matter. All the money. When you go to Black Lives Matter to donate money, click on that donation link and then follow the trail. It'll show you that it gets flipped into another company. And which one is that? Unite Blue or something like that. Blue something. Anyway,
Act
Blue. It goes to Act Blue, and Act Blue then shows you who they're giving their funds to, and it goes specifically to the DNC, to Mr. Biden, to several other people. So I tell you, I submit that the people who are now surrounding the White House were all paid to be there, and I'm saying it publicly. They were paid to be there. And they're getting paid a nice little handy a bit of cash tonight to go out there and storm the White House and do all the stuff that they're doing. But here's what I feel from an American standpoint. I believe that if you can come out here and start acting crazy, we need to give you some get right. If you don't know how to act right, we need to give you some get right. You come out here acting like a fool in front of the White House or any place else where people are trying to do their thing and just have peace, and you want to act crazy? Okay, we need to show you how to get right. That's just the truth. Because if it was us out there acting like fools, okay, they would do it. All right, I'm sorry. There you go.
No problem. So what we're going to do is, we've been, we've had a chance to look at a few different sources, and from the way things stand, I think we're quite far from over. In fact, we have some polls in the state of California that are still at least another 15 minutes until closing time. So what we're going to do is, if the Lockhart Perspective is okay with it, I'm going to take this comment, and then if you're okay with it, we'll open it up for a few minutes and see if we have any takers on predictions or just if you just have a comment, we'll give you two minutes, and we'll go on to the next person, and then we will do a bit of a summation, and then we'll close out.
Are we answering Anthony's question first? Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
Okay. You want to go first, or you want me to go?
Why don't you go first?
Okay, Anthony's question is, what is your opinion about anxiety? And is it silly to get anxious during the election? No, not at all. It's not silly to get anxious at all. I believe that being that we are spirit beings, our spirit man knows exactly what's going on, right? And I believe that because we're made in the image of the Most High God, being that we are spirit, pneuma, that he breathed into us, that we are going to feel things in the spirit realm first. And that is the anxiety, I think, a lot of times that you feel. Now, let me clarify what type of anxiety. I'm not talking about the nervous jitters that make us feel like, oh my God, I don't have any control. I think that sometimes we get that churning in our gut that something's about to happen. And what I submit is when that happens, you get someplace and you pray. You say, Father, I don't understand this feeling, but I know that you know. And I'm going to believe right now that this feeling that I'm experiencing is urging me to pray, to talk to you, to ask that your will be done in this circumstance, in this situation. And then you can even remind God of his word where he says, you know what? Cast all your cares upon me because I care for you. He cares for you. So give him your care. When you have anxiety, oftentimes, Anthony, that's a care and a concern. And in prayer, when you are talking to Abba Father at that moment, you're giving your cares to him. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with admitting that we can feel anxious during these times, because these have been some weirdo times in the last 8 or 9 months. So to your point, it's not abnormal. Just get someplace and pray. Let God handle it, and then relax knowing you gave it to him, and then let him keep it.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I will lend what I think about your question, Anthony. I do think that anxiety is it's something that kind of keeps you going, and it can work. It can be, I don't think it's necessarily a positive thing, but I don't think it's wrong. I don't think it's that it's morally wrong to be anxious, but I do think that you should I think we have to have a level of acceptance, from everything that we've seen. We knew this day was coming, and we can't predict everything, but we have to know that we're going to go on. And I kind of want to, grab the coattail of the Lockhart perspective. And I think you have to have some level of, faith that goes a little beyond, beyond the chaos, because that's what we've had. And I don't see that this chaos is going to be, I don't think that the chaos is going to go away with the ballot box. I don't. I think we have a long way to go. And I think that we're going to come through it either way. So I don't think it's bad, or I don't think it's silly to get anxious. I just think that we have to be in a good position to accept things however they come out. And yeah, if you're spiritual, if you have to hold on to your faith, you have to hold on to something, but you can't put all of, I think it's counterproductive to lose it, or to be fearful overall, because that's not gonna take you in a good direction. You're not going to be able to hold on to that either. After the anxiety, then what? I think anxiety comes from a lot of self-talk. And yeah, so I don't think it's silly, but I think you have to accept that you have to be coming from a place of acceptance so that you can accept the results, or your faith will help you accept the results however they come out.
I like that. That's good stuff.
So yeah, so I appreciate that. Yeah, so with that said, thank you so much, Anthony Scioli, I think, for all that you do and all your support. I want to say this because we're going to be coming to the close of our segment, and of course, like maybe tomorrow or something, and in the coming days, there will be plenty of aftershock, aftermath on this situation. And I would like to, if it's okay with the Lockhart Perspective, if we might open it up, give those an opportunity to tag in with their own comment or their own prediction for the evening, and then we will close out with some thoughts. And I hope you guys have a restful night and a night that's not. Maybe you can get to a good place before you go to bed tonight. Not an anxious place.
Amen.
So I'm going to put that link out for you. And yes,
you guys just grab the link and then come on in the green room and we talk to you. You can, you don't have to have your face seen if you don't want to. When you go to this little link, all you're going to do, click it, go inside. You can tell us if you want to be seen on the screen. You click it and you say yes or no, and then you can voice your opinion. Now, I don't know if O-Head is still in here or not. He's usually got some pretty good stuff to lend.
I know. I mean, I can't tell. I haven't. I'm not sure if I've heard from him in a little bit, because we've been going for a little bit of time.
For a minute. Yeah, and he be hanging out. Kathy, I would love to hear you if you're still in here with us, precious lady. If you want to, stop in and share a couple of things, that would be awesome. It looks like Nebraska's been called for Trump as a prospective winner, 51.0. And then Biden, 46.8. It will be great to hear Miss Kathy. It will be great to hear Anthony. You guys don't have to be afraid. We don't bite, especially on Tuesdays. We reserve that for Thursdays.
Yes, he is right.
So,
absolutely.
So it looks like Michigan's been taken by Trump, according to this poll, or according to this, I'm going to say poll, because we don't know what the finals really are right now. And that's a very young picture of Biden. He hasn't looked like that. He hadn't looked like that in 42 years.
Right. His hair there, right? Is more hair.
Yeah,
there,
exactly.
So,
exactly.
Interesting.
So we don't have any takers. Come on, you guys. There's got to be somebody out there that has something that you want to share. You want to talk to us. You want to ask us, what we think about X, Y, or Z. You want to give us your opinion on what we're seeing on the screen tonight. Go on ahead, please. We're begging you to grab that link and put it in your pocket, or I'll keep singing if you don't.
Yes, we'd love to hear from you guys. As that's, to me, that's some of the best parts of any show or stream or cast, is when we actually get to have a dialogue or an exchange with.
And you don't have to be on a computer, right, Black Spring?
No, you don't. You can actually you can go right in from your phone, and yes, you can. You don't have to have a computer to join the or take the link.
See, you see, we told you it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt, ladies and gentlemen. Come on over. I'm gonna, I like this channel, but I don't know how good. Well, I don't know. They may be from our country. And that's. Do you ever watch Sky News?
I don't, but I saw that in lineup, so I'm thinking I might check out Sky News. Sky News, I could probably take us over to Sky News. It's
Well, I
possible.
got them on there right now. I got them. Let's see.
So what are you
Oh,
getting? What are you seeing?
Omarosa. We're talking to Omarosa. I can't
Really?
stand Omarosa. Let's see what
From
Omarosa
the
has to
ashes?
say. Yeah, I'm sharing it now. Tell me when you
From
can
the
see it.
ashes. Okay. I see it. Here we go.
Again, small numbers, but Dems were hoping they'd get all of the 5 in Nebraska.
I know the Democrats wish they weren't in this position right now. I mean, we heard over and over again about this blue wave.
Well, she looks
for
poor.
the last several months at this spread where Biden was leading 5%, 8% in some places. And now we're here and we're looking and they're hoping that that blue wall still holds, but we're seeing cracks in it.
Okay, just got some projections to make for you, but it's the familiar narrative. We can make a projection for Mississippi. Those of you that know well the electoral map of the United States will know that that's staying well red. Only
there you go.
The live
Go ahead,
results in there, 60% for Donald Trump, and we will jump up to Wyoming, and we will project that for Donald Trump, 68.8%. As we've been telling you during the course
These
of this
results
meeting,
are
many states
staggering
in
between the
this
network,
mighty
between
country
the, you know what I
actually
mean? The
don't have much of an
sources.
influence in reality on who becomes the next president of the United States. It is these toss-up states, these states that are, as you can see, as we show you in all our graphics there, that are too close to call, that will decide the eventual winner of this presidency. And that, as in 2016, came down to under 100,000 voters in total in some of those key swing states. Just want to tell you a little bit about the Senate race. There's Senator Lindsey Graham, the Republican, who Cordelia can tell me an awful lot more. You may, if you've been following politics in the United States over the last few weeks, he sat on the Senate Judiciary Committee as they appointed Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court. Might be getting into a little too much detail here, Cordelia, but that's significant because Lindsey Graham, the huge Senate race going on here, 35 seats up for grabs, 23 of them are Republican. Now, the Democrats, if they don't get the presidency, they want second prize, don't they? They want control of the Senate. And if they do get the presidency, they also want the Senate because it makes Joe Biden's job easier.
Yeah, and if they don't win the presidency, they're looking at trying to flip 5 seats, basically. If they were to, they'd need about 4. Of course, without the Senate, whoever is president will find it very difficult to pass any legislation in this incredibly polarized moment in America. I mean, Lindsey Graham is important as a symbol, really, I think, of the transition of the Republican Party and what Donald Trump has done to reshape, really, the very fabric and character of it. Now, he was a thorn in the side, a critic of Donald Trump in the very early days. He very much shifted his position on that. We heard him express a lot of concern about foreign policy and what Donald Trump might mean to the kind of diplomatic balance globally. And then he's been firmly on side, really at the forefront of kind of pushing the Trump message wherever he can. He's a man I've interviewed a number of times. You know, he will usually be available to defend Donald Trump at critical moments. He was facing a tight race. He was concerned he was being overspent by his opponent, and yet there he is safe. He's a kind of Republican stalwart who changed with the times under Donald Trump. And that's possibly one of Donald Trump's
eyes on those electoral
legacies.
votes.
Not only what he's done with the Supreme Court, he promised 1 Supreme Court justice, he's delivered 3.
Hi,
but
Mayflix
how he's got
vlog.
so many Republicans that were concerned to not quite capitulate, but certainly
right.
to join the Trump train.
Sorry, I'm racing.
And let's not forget the judicial.
That's the part that I'm
He has
nervous
appointed
about.
More judges
Yeah.
than
Kathy,
any
you want to come
president
on and
ever.
chat with
And
us?
let's just remark,
Just
in a
take
very
that link
diverse
and we'll talk
country,
to you.
All of the judges that he's appointed, I believe are all white men. I mean, he's made no attempt to even diversify the bench. So
She looks
I
a
think
little
it's a
different to
stark
me right
difference.
now. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, she poor now.
Talking about the federal.
Okay, yeah, right. But I mean, the point being that that's the lasting legacy, isn't it? Long
And her
after
face
a
looks
president is
rounder. It
gone,
used
the
to be
Supreme
longer.
Court, well, they're there for life.
Yeah,
Well,
she's
not only will
she's
that be a part of his
transforming.
legacy, but we have to acknowledge some other things that will last. There will always be a blemish for what happened at the border, separating children.
Oh
from
my
their
gosh, here we go.
And we'll have to also recognize on an international stage, as we talk to a very awake audience, about how America's relationship with our allies has changed under Donald Trump, but also domestically.
You mean you're not fleecing the American taxpayers anymore? We're not
How we look at
subsidizing all these
environmental
countries?
protections.
Get
He's
out of here. Ugh,
protections for
done with
wildlife.
her.
There are parts of his legacy that will live
We had
on.
to wait
Some of
all this time to hear
others
from her this.
What about the Senate? Does it look? Do you think that?
Why do you have this
Democrats can
dodo
make
on here
headway there?
talking about
I
him
think I
anyway?
have to
Let me get. Let me.
Yeah.
Let me.
Because
Yeah.
as
Diminish
hopeful as I
that
am,
I mean,
one.
that's the
she
point.
knows
Was
the
they
inner
thought they were going to get the clean sweep? Didn't
She is
Yeah,
not.
I think it's a mixed picture so far on the Senate
Okay.
races that we
Let
can
me.
see.
All
You want me
right.
to zap her? Here, I
think
can zap her. Look,
Oh,
see how quick that was?
she was zapped.
Yeah, she's gone. And the reason why I say she had to go was because she's bitter. Whenever you got a bitter woman, see, one thing about Spicer, he's a dude. Dudes aren't catty like chicks. Whenever you got, and I'm saying this, and for the chicks that's in here that's upset with me, you're gonna be all right. Chicks are very catty, and anytime a chick has worked for somebody and they had to walk her out with her potted plant, you all right.
Potted plants.
They took Omarosa out the White House, kicking and screaming, with her polo potted ficus in tow. So of course she's gonna go on anybody's show and say something that's a little cross-eyed. So for that, I don't like some of the things that she's got to say. Fair is fair, and right is right, and wrong is wrong, is what I say. Right is right, and wrong
Easy
is wrong.
enough.
Okay,
Yes,
easy enough.
She has no credibility
At all.
I'm just thinking why she had to go all the way to a British media to get some airtime.
To get some airtime, because ain't nobody gonna listen to her. She couldn't have even tried that. She could have tried that with Jet Magazine. They tried to beat her up at the Essence Awards. So
I'm like, she's past her 15 minutes of fame.
That's what I'm saying. And now
It's
she
done.
That's the reason why you say, why she look different? Because she can't afford to get that expensive makeup anymore now that she's decided to rid her. She did what she did and got out there and decided that she was going to write a book and try to tell all. And all it did was told what a backstabber she was and how right they were for releasing her. Here's the deal. When you are a lady and you get released, you don't down talk the company or the people who used to work for you. You remain a lady and you keep your opinions to yourself. And I think that she's quite opinionated, and I don't think that she's the person we need to be hearing about anything, especially when it comes to the topic of climate change. Girl, bye.
Yeah, I can do without her commentary. Yeah, she can get her airtime. She can do a podcast of her own.
Yeah, she could. Okay, there are 0 votes in for California, 0 votes in for Biden right now. There are no votes for either one. What on the planet is this? Look at the Electoral College. Look at the Electoral College.
See, which one are you on? Okay, let me go back to
Wow.
But yeah, well, I just want to give you a social media hack here from Jamil Hill.
Okay, come on.
All right, and according to her tweet, if Trump wins re-election, it's on white people, no one else. Is that killing you?
What is that?
I said, is that killing you?
I was reading Kathy's message when I had invited her to come on and listen to us. Oh, Kathy says, no thanks. I've never done such a thing. And I don't think today is going to be the day to start. If you're talking to me, yeah, I wanted to meet you in person and hear your voice because you've been such a support to me as well as Black Spring on our channel.
Yes, very much.
Very much. You are such a pleasant person. You have great insight and you always give great, excellent comments to the work that we've done. And I did want to talk to you, but you know what? I totally get it. When you don't want to be talking, I understand. Now, Black Spring was saying something about Jamil Hill, and what was it?
Yeah, here they go. Jamil Hill, which I'm not a fan of. She says on her tweet, she's tweeted probably around about 2 hours ago, if Trump wins re-election, it's on white people, no one else.
Oh wow.
So, but see, there you go. There's a state of denial, a permanent state of denial, and in the morning they'll be blaming Black men. Okay, that's how we're going to do it. Yeah, and like I said, I really don't think these results will be finalized until the wee hours of the morning. So with that said,
yeah.
With that said, Lockhart, we want to. Do you have any summations or predictions as we close out? I want to thank everybody else for joining us on this sundown with the Battleground and more. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and thank you so much, Lockhart Perspective, for coming in. Would you like to give us a final prediction or give us some conjecture for the evening, or just some words of wisdom for those who might have some level of might be anxious or unresolved?
What I would say is that and you know me, my favorite term and my favorite phrase is for us to pray, because that has always worked in my life. I don't know what I could never ever give anybody any other suggestions, recommendations, insight on anything, because I feel like as long as we're in our earth suits, right? We really don't know what's going on. And if we do say we trust God or we trust the Most High Yah, then we do have to put it all on Him. And so for me, I put it all on Him. But what I would say is the things that we need to, while we're praying, we need to be specific about. With all specificity, we need to pray that it is a fair and balanced election, that anything that was done to do the opposite to harm our nation, that those things will be found out and, thwarted immediately. When you pray, just ask God for purity in the election. Since we don't know, just say, you know what, Father, I just want you to show what's real. Let what's real stand. No lies and no fakeness and no misguided, no theft and none of that. And the truth will come out. And whatever does not, whatever He allows to remain hidden, because sometimes there are things that the Father will allow to remain hidden from us for a time, that He does know what He's doing. And so that's what I want to say. I want to say, everybody, fear not, trust God, continue to trust Him. Even when your bank account looks low, trust Him. Even when your pantry got one can of pork and beans left in it, if you eat pork and beans, please trust Him. If you get a light bill and you can't afford it because you haven't gotten your unemployment or you haven't gotten X, Y, or Z, please trust Him. Yes, even in that. Well, you're thinking in your mind right now, but if that, think that too. Trust Him in that too, because these elections are really made up for a system that the children of God are not meant for. That was not something He intended for us to do, but He did intend for us to pray for the things that go on in this country. Right now, His people who are called by His name need to be doing exactly like the word says. And if my people who are called by my name would turn away from their wicked ways, would turn away from their sin, would humble themselves and pray. You know the spiel, you know the scripture where He says, then I'll hear from heaven. You got to repent. You got to give it to Him. You got to say, God, I'm sorry. I see the way our country is going. And I pray that, you know what, my actions, Lord, that they line up with your will and your word. And please forgive me. If we corporately do that, we will see a healing of our nation, the healing that we think these people that are being voted in can do. And I know I'm preaching right now, and I don't mean to be, but I just believe that there's some of us out here who might need to hear that. We have to use the weaponry that we've got right here in this earth suit, in this earth realm. We've got to use that power and trust that he's going to heal it and he's going to take care of us, because we're all in here together. Every last one of us in this same fish tank, the same stage. We all in here together. And so we just have to trust him. That's all I got.
Well, I thank you so much for that. Very beautiful and very, very balanced. And I think it's a message that there's something in the message for everyone. So with that said, I don't have a lot in terms of, I don't have a lot to lend to this. I'm just thinking that I'm going to say a prayer before I close out my evening, because I think that I'm going to, as they say, give it to God and let him do his will be done. And
Yes.
I think that's all of the time. And yes, that's what I'm going to do. And so maybe you can rest easier if you can give it to him, and then you can have a restful night, and you can start over tomorrow. And we'll work it out. We'll deal with it, whatever the outcome is. But from what, and to go away from that, with all the projection, who knows, we're still, all the mail-in ballots, all of these things, I think if you get into too much anxiety, your stomach will be in knots for weeks, because these polls and these mail-in votes, there's still a window, a wide window, I think, that's going to be out there. So try to take it there would be my best advice. And I want to thank you guys so much for spending your sundown here with the Lockhart Perspective and myself. And if there's nothing else, I appreciate you guys so much for coming on. I want to thank the Lockhart Perspective again for joining me on this live stream.
Thank you for having me.
And I also just want to take 1 second to shout out the loyal patrons. And so just give it 1 second, and then we're going to close out the stream. And I will shout out everyone here. Shout out to Old Head Deuce, Kathy Lott. Thank you so much for coming in. Mayflix Vlog. Let's see. We had some people in earlier. Anthony Scioli. Thank you so much. Touchdown Sean. Bruce Wayne. So many new faces here. Thank you guys so much. Spiritual Java with Annie. Thank you so much for coming in. And I will be happy to check out your channels. AC Left V, shout out to you.
Me. That's my other channel. That's my beauty channel.
Nice. Gus the Broken 2, thank you so much for coming in. And Kay Red Lotus, thank you so much for coming in. And I think that's an Old Head Deuce, of course. We appreciate your loyalty. And the TR show, thanks so much. And thanks so much for everybody who shared it out. We really appreciate the reach and for you supporting us during these viable times in this viable process. So thank you guys so much. And also want to give just really quickly, just a little brief infomercial here, and then we're going to close out the stream. If you're looking for great content creators on the subject of automobiles, current events, politics, culture, history, you name it, take a look at our patrons: Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, The Definition of Anarchy, Chrysler Imperial H, Let the Truth Be Told, Little Miss Goth, AZ Infidel, Cold War Jesus, and Anthony Scioli. And now, back to the news.
Hey.
All right.
Hey.
Thank you guys so much again. And we're going to wish you guys a great evening. Thank you guys. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.